Jeremy's Angels, where we are talking all things evil. The greatest show ever. No, I'm just kidding. It's pretty good though. It's pretty good. It's up there. And
It's
we are
up
It
gonna
there.
is.
deep yeah, I like it. We're gonna deep dive into season 2 tonight. And we're gonna get through the first 3 episodes. But with me tonight, as always, it's the lovely angels, Dana Marie and Ice Queen. How are you ladies doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing
Another day,
good.
another episode.
I know. I'm excited. Season 2 is gonna reveal some things. How about you, Ice
We
Queen?
yes, we missed
I'm
Ice
doing
Queen
good.
last
Thank
week.
you.
Yes,
Sorry?
welcome back. We missed you last week.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
thank you. I do apologise for last week. It was,
Oh
yeah.
no. No,
Not at all.
no, I would not want to have to deal with that either. That was very painful.
But here I am. Here I
Y-
am, all ready for season 2.
Yes. Season 2 is real good because George gets to narrate all the way through, and he's with us. He's our little demon to carry us through.
I do
And
like
yeah,
his little outros and intros and things.
yeah, season 2 we get the book of terrible things, and he kind of gets to talk us through the beginning and ending of the episodes. It's pretty fun. But before we get into the episodes, let's see who we have in the chat. And of course, we got Betray King first. Always been working real hard for us.
Yes,
Thank,
BK's been working really
Absolutely.
hard for us. Thank you, BK.
yes, thank you so much, man.
Thank you. And I'll tell you a little secret. I'm actually only here tonight because BK helped me.
I
Didn't
know, I
want
heard.
to
I
go and
know our special little way of watching the show did not work anymore. So
did
yes,
not work. It was like, oh no, what am I going to do?
I know.
But
I feel you. I was
oh, yeah,
devastated as well.
BK to the rescue, as always.
as
Yes,
always. So thank you. Definitely a big thank you from me, BK.
yes, he's great tech support for sure. And we
I guess
have
he could go back on the list for some tomato sauce. He's redeemed himself,
he's
so he
redeemed
gets some
himself.
tomato sauce.
There you go. You get some tomato sauce, BK. Enjoy. Looks like we got Arrogant Ape in the house tonight. What's up, Arrogant Ape?
Hey, Arrogant.
We got Doc Hayes. Hey, you man.
Hey, Doc.
And we got our angel in the chat, Kiwi Scared. What's up?
Hey, Kiwi
Yes,
Skirt.
Miss Kiwi, our angel in the chat for sure.
Yes. Scroll down, see who else is in here. Oh, we got Bitey. What's up, Bitey?
Hey, Bitey.
Always a pleasure to see you. And we got Snuggy. Snuggy Jr. in the house. What's up, man?
My favorite bear.
Thanks for
And
sharing the link, Snuggy.
oh yeah, always aliens, always aliens for Snugs.
Yep,
Yep,
even when it comes to demons, it's going to be the aliens.
they're always behind it. They're behind everything. We got Crazy Mad in the house, man. What's up, Crazy Mad?
Hey, Crazy Mad.
Of course, we got our Jeremy in the house, hanging out with
Thank
us.
you, Jeremy.
I think that looks like everybody. Wait, oh, we got Creators Outlet. What's up, man? Nice to see you. I think that's everybody. Well, thank you guys for coming to hang out with us tonight. And we are going to be talking season 2 of Evil, which you can find on Paramount Plus. And we're going to get into the first episode, which is N is for Night Terrors. So when you are
Can I
ready,
just,
Miss Dana, to pull to.
sorry, hello to Robert Saunders. I think we missed him.
Oh, did I miss Robert? I'm so sorry. Yes, I did.
Yes,
I missed
ma'am.
Robert Saunders. I'm so my
Just
bad,
dropping
man.
by to show some support.
Yes, thank you. We love Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
He's just as crazy as we are.
Sorry, didn't
Yes,
mean
we
to
have an
interrupt
awesome
you.
Discord. I love each and every one of you. You guys support us week in and week out, and we just can't say thank you enough.
Definitely not.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you guys. The Discord is awesome, by the way. Oh, and we got Big Doga. I'm sorry, 56. If I said that wrong, my apologies. But yes, we are talking evil. I know. And we have it, the pop-up book of terrible things with the Roman numerals on it. And if you look, I looked it up. It's 2021, which is when this season came out. So I don't know. That was interesting. I saw that.
And you know what I like? I like that they actually also incorporate the book in the show. We actually sometimes see them like handling the book, looking at the book. So it's almost like a real prop within the world of evil too. It's not just the opening, but we see later down the line them actually play with this book, and you see the book in the world of evil. So that's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's actually really cool. And the book itself is cool, and the intros for every episode is really like, because this one's is for Night Terror. So as we go through, it'll show the pop-up book. And you can see there is the N is for Night Terrors. And it looks really cute until you turn the page. Then you get this little demon pops out at you. And there she is. And we will find out later who I believe this demon is.
Yeah, our little sexy blue little demon.
Yes, Ben will find out all about his night terror demon.
It's awesome. I love how it goes from like just roar.
I love it, and the animation they use for the episodes looks really cool. But yeah, this episode is pretty good because this is right after Kristen basically has killed LaRue, and she's in the bathroom, and she's basically touches this rosary that she finds, or I think it's one David gave her, and it's in the bathroom. And when she picks it up and puts it in her hand, it essentially burns her hand, burns the cross into her hand.
Mm.
So that was like that was pretty wild. And she's trying to figure out if it was something supernatural or was there something, explainable. Like, and I think this also is the start of something that she will deal with as we go through this season. She ends up taking on that burn in more than one way.
Yeah, I think so. She thinks it might be psychosomatic, doesn't she?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So she's got it all packaged up to give to Ben later.
Because she's trying so hard to rationalize it. Like, she wants it to be something that she can explain and not associated with the, killing of LaRue and actually tainting her soul in a way, like making her evil. Like, that's the whole reason why she was holding it, because she was so scared that she then became somewhat of an evil person because of what she did.
That moral conflict she's having right now. And then, that's where she's got the weapon that she murdered him with, the blood on it. And she essentially goes to bury it outside. And as she does it, the train goes by and whatever, and she looks in the window, and I believe it's Lexi in the window? It's one of her daughters is in the window.
That's who I thought it was. It definitely looks like Lexi out of all the girls.
Yeah.
Hey, the Velvet Voices. What's up? What's up? Yes, it will be releasing very soon. We're waiting any day now for season 4 release date. Early mid-spring possibly. So I'm assuming maybe around April, maybe even March.
Yes, we're hoping that they're going to start promoting soon. We're hopeful that it's going to be very soon that we're going to start getting some promotional details on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is awesome. Big Dago. I know I'm going to say this wrong like 20 times. I'm so sorry. But yes, that's so awesome that you have started watching Evil and Jeremy's recommendation. It is cool seeing Ben again, yes. And of course, if you watched this last night, nights are getting confusing. We did do All Things Lost, so that was fun. So yes, we're seeing Ben everywhere. Michael Emerson. He's definitely a favorite around here. But yes,
and if you're a Ben fan, you will like this show.
Yes, he does a fabulous job. So let's see. Oh, so Kristen, she goes back upstairs. So she never even buries the climbing ice tool. No, I forgot what it's called.
I think it's a ice pick tool. I believe as they climb, they jam it in to kind of like help. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's her climbing tool for when she's climbing the mountains. But yeah, we're having a little echo. I don't know who it's from.
Oh, it might be from me.
Let's see. Yeah. Yep, it might have been Ice Queen. But yep. But so she goes upstairs. While Ice Queen's figuring that out real quick, we're gonna move on with the episode. She checks on the girls, and they're all seemingly asleep. And she even looks at the window and notices that the girls' doors close. So she's trying to figure out what's going on, and she assumes too. She goes kind of to Lexus first, I believe, before Laura wakes up. So yeah, I assumed it was Lexus too, which I thought she was sleepwalking again, but I wasn't sure. Because she does the sleepwalking.
That's what I
at the end of
thought.
the last
I thought she
episode.
possibly could have been sleepwalking.
Mm-hmm.
You thought exactly what I thought.
Well, that's kind of how they made you think. At least that's the way they directed it for me. Oh, and so now she's going to finally clean her weapon, and she does. She bleaches it and cleans it, and she's slightly paranoid in this moment, trying to like listen out. And I don't know if she's listening out for the girls or she just hears noises and she's freaking out. But yeah, she tries her best to clean it up and hide it in the cupboard or in the closet behind all of the like umbrellas and stuff. And she does a meticulous job at cleaning it too. She wants to make sure there's no signs of blood or anything on it.
Yep. Got to get rid of the evidence.
Yeah, she does too. And she basically tries to just kind of forget about it. And then she calls her husband before switching a proceeding called David. Yeah, she goes to call David
I believe
instead.
She starts to call her husband, and she kind of like,
yeah, because Andy's not around right now. He's gone, right? He went back, I believe.
Yeah, he went back to climbing.
And then she sees the news of LaRue. They found LaRue dead. And that was really okay. Yeah, this is where it gets real good because this is where he's starting to. I'm trying to think of what Ben was doing here. Is this where he finally gets the? Oh yeah, because that's right. What I like about this is when we get his night terror demon. Before this, when they're on the part about Leland's exorcism, Leland tells Ben prior to this night that he's going to get a visit from this night terror demon. So Leland has almost a connection with these demons in some form, or at least I don't know how he would know he's going to get his first encounter because Ben doesn't talk to anybody like about his dreams and stuff. And he said it before he even saw him. Whereas when Kristen, he didn't say it till after Kristen and kind of already talked to Kurt about hers. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, he said it before, didn't he? He was like, "Oh, you're going to have a dream tonight," or something. So I suppose in Ben's mind, that's going to, give him a dream. I'm rationalizing Ben's thoughts here, and yeah, so it was already in his mind, wasn't it, that he's going to have a dream?
Yeah, he almost like planted the seed in a way. Like he's like, "Did you have any nightmares lately? Any nightmares?" And Ben's, because he didn't have them at that point, he was like, "No, what?" And then when it happens, he's almost like, "This is because Ben told me. This is because Leland told me I was gonna have them. This is because of that." And he tries really hard, but that's later in the episode.
Mm-hmm. So Kristen ends up with her appointment with Kurt. And I'm trying to remember what she was talking. Hey, BK, what is up?
And this is where she starts.
Yeah, we were trying to decode.
This is where she starts to like question him, like, Oh, were you? Did you have any luck?
Well, we got fuck Ben Zodiac, but without the K, F-U-C. Ben Zodiac. That's as far as we got. Hey, I got all the letters. They're all in there.
There you go. You made them work. You made them fit. You made them fit.
I did. I scrabbled it away.
Just missing a letter, so we'll improvise.
It's fine. It's slang or something. I don't know. We're fitting it in there. But yeah, the puzzles for this
Imagination.
are very complex, apparently.
And I can't believe still nobody's figured out what it possibly could say. I haven't seen anything with any like definitive, like this is what it spells out. Nobody has yet been able to spell it out.
No, it's taken all the letters from each title as the single letter, like N for Night Terror, so the N, and then each episode has one like that. And you take all the letters, and supposedly they're supposed to spell out something. And we have not figured it out yet. So that is something to keep in mind. And if you go,
and
to
I believe
Discord,
you put it up the Discord, yeah.
Yeah.
You have it up in the Discord. So we'll
like
take some help. We'll take some help. Anybody who wants to try to figure it out.
Absolutely. What were you trying to say, Ice Queen?
I was just asking, is it an anagram of all the letters?
We're not sure. Honestly, people have tried all different kinds of things. There's some Reddit threads out there that I think we have all those in the Discord. If not, I will make sure we put them in there and we have them in there. But they kind of go through all these different puzzles and what people have tried. And they've tried book ciphers and they've tried all kinds of anagrams and stuff. I know we put it into like the Scrabble thing just to see what it would like generate. So yeah, we've definitely tried some things.
Oh, hey, Kayla. Kayla's stopping by to say hello. Hey, Kayla. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes.
Hey, Kayla.
Awesome.
So we're continuing with
yeah.
Kristen and her and Kirk. This is basically where she's basically admitting that she killed LaRoe.
Mm-hmm. And she's almost not, I wouldn't say proud of it, but she's not ashamed of it. She was very much, he was confused.
Not at all.
She made sure to ask if, like, make sure that he wasn't going to go to the DA or reveal anything that this conversation had. And she reaffirms him, like, I'm not just some typical patient. I worked for the DA. I know how the system works. And then she gets real proud of herself in that moment. And she shows him the burn, which I think, what does he associate it with her just mental state, basically, kind of like, it's kind of like hysteria, I guess.
Yes,
where
the
you
trauma.
Yeah, and it will show up in different forms, and it can be a rash. So I think he prescribes her some more. I think he prescribes her,
and then he does what doctors do best and gives her some drugs.
Yep. Oh yeah, and this next part gets real good. When she gets home after that, and she finds blood all over the floor, and I believe she finds her daughter upstairs. You see the blood trail. It was like massive amount of blood from this child's mouth.
But not worker. Grab a weapon.
She's ready to smash
grab a weapon whenever you see blood. Grab a weapon.
It's so much blood that the child's hand could make a handprint with it. And there she is, our little RMS baby with her vampire teeth, her little fangs popping out. And her mom goes to check on them. And then she literally cuts her finger on them because they are super sharp. I thought that was crazy.
Yes, they're
she
like
ends up
little
having
fangs.
to take her to like the dentist to get them removed. or not remove, or they try to do something with them. Does not end very well for the dentist.
Oh, oh, that scene is insane.
And we have Ben to
And
explain
then
to
we
her
have
why the
the Ben the
little.
Magnificent shows up to save the day.
Yes, he does, to explain why the rosary burned her or gave her the rash, because it was cobalt, and it, with heat combined with it, it will cause it to basically cause a rash. It'll cause it to heat up because it conducts heat, I believe is the way he said it. Hey, Jen Hack,
Whoa.
what's up?
Hey, Jen.
Sorry, my screenshots flickered. There's all the blood. There's your blood. There's your blood, Scarlet.
All the blood from the little vampire child, and Ben's like, "What is going on?" And she's like, "Oh, we're having some teeth problems. It's fine. It's perfectly normal."
That is a lot of blood.
It is a lot of blood.
That is a
My child has never had that much blood from her teeth being lost.
No. I think he's starting to suspect
That's like
something's up with
hospital
her as
visit.
well, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that's like hospital visit levels of blood. That's like get in the car, we're going to the emergency room type blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ben's all concerned. He's like, what'd you kill? What'd you kill for all that?
Yeah. That's where he shows or she shows him where the rosary was next to the curling iron, and he's assuming that the girls left it on or it was cooling off, and that's what caused it to heat up and essentially burn her hand. Whereas I still don't believe it.
I don't either.
She did, like, when you watch it, I swear it's like she doesn't just like, it was on there for a second right before it burned. I know it was on there for a good couple seconds where she's like, "Oh, that's so hot." Like, if you had something hot in your hand and you were worried about it burning you before you put it on your hand, you would have felt it a little sooner.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been such a delayed reaction.
But Ben, of course, gave enough of an answer for her because, of course, she's still a skeptic. So it was good enough for Kristen to believe that it was just a little burn. It's fine.
Yeah, it's almost like she got her explanation. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's got to be that. Like,
Yeah.
she was satisfied with that.
Even though I don't know anybody that would put a curling iron hot in the drawer like that with the wire wrapped around it. But
I know, right? Because she was even like, "I guess it was hot." He's like, "No, of course it was. It was cooling down, wrapped up in there." Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Ben ever the skeptic. But no, this is one of my favorite parts of the episode. Because, all right, so she's got the teeth going on. And she gets a dentist appointment. And the dentist explains about how her teeth are basically, they are just deep in her mouth. And the pictures are really good. And it shows how deep they go up in her. So they can't just extract them easily. They're going to have to actually do a little minor surgery in order to try to get them out. Because they are just not doing good for her.
No, but they're deep in there too. Like, you could, even when you see the x-ray, like, they are in there.
They even hurt when she touches them. I think she was like, "Ow," and then it cut her mama's finger.
yeah, I think she's been having a lot of pain with them, hasn't she, as they've been growing?
Mm-hmm. And she tells her, that it's fine. Everybody has something different about them. Kristen had web feet, which she turned into using for climbing. And so she's like, "Well, can I climb?" And she's like, "No, you can't climb." So she's
Nope.
like, "So what do I do with these teeth? They're different. How do I apply this to life like you did your feet?" Vampire people. Oh yeah, this is so gnarly. So we get to where she actually gets to have the surgery, and Kristen's on the phone, and she's half paying attention, and the little girl is supposed to be under like anesthesia, but somehow in this moment where she literally bites the freaking dentist's finger off, her eyes are open.
Oh,
like
this
she's
part was
awake.
so. Oh, I
Oh,
felt
it's
it. I
horrible.
felt it.
It was
Oh, I felt it when she did this.
so gnarly.
Look at Kristen.
It's like, oh my god. No,
I
she's
love that
freaking out.
screenshot. I love this screenshot. Kristen is just like freaking the fuck out as like the doctor is screaming. It is such a good screenshot of Kristen. That would be you, Scarlett, huh? Running.
Dude, she was like immediately ran over there, like, we need a doctor. I'm like, no, you need freaking exorcist.
Look at it. Look at her
Her
finger.
finger, it
Oh,
was barely
look
like
at it.
hanging on.
Horrible.
Look at
It was it's gnarly.
it's just dangling there. It's just dangling.
Hanging on by a thread.
They can fix it. Don't worry. They can sew it back on.
Oh,
Quick. Put it. I can't. I'm sorry. This part was just so
just
disgusting.
seeing this screenshot, it's even worse than watching it happen because it was just there, hanging there.
It's just like there.
Jen Hack, finger looking good. Well, apparently for Lexi it was.
I will never see chicken the same. Thank you.
No,
Oh, but it was so weird because like she technically was not like coherent. She was under, yet her eyes were open when she bit that finger because she don't remember any of this when they get in the car. Like right after this, they get in the car and she's like coming back after being loopy, and she's like, "I don't feel right." She's like, "Oh, you're fine." You see, she's under again, like her eyes are closed and the blood drips down her mouth with her little vampire teeth.
But you also
Mhm.
heard the crunch. You heard the crunch when she bit down on her finger. Like you heard it. It was like crunch. Like she was
It
eating a
was.
snack.
Oh, it was bad because it wasn't like she legit bit her finger. It wasn't like she just kind of cut it on them. No, she woke up for like 3 seconds and tried to eat the dentist.
That won't no
Oh yeah,
nibble.
she's wiping the blood because Kristen went over there to try to grab her hand, to help. It was all she could think of was to apply pressure. So she's got this blood all over her hands, and her daughter's in the back seat waking up. Like, what happened? Like, oh, everything's
Yeah,
fine.
she has no clue.
You're just a little loopy. It's fine.
Oh, that scene was just
That was good. And that was kind of like the first or the one of the main storylines, and then we're gonna get to the second one.
Yep,
Which-
pulling them up now. Yeah, that
Mhm.
was just like Kristen's story throughout the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to David's vision.
Yeah, David's vision was interesting.
BK says, of course, that's what you would say if you were complicit in the act.
Share screen. Share screen. And,
But yeah, what did you guys think in the chat?
there you go.
Was that, I mean, I know you guys seen it. That was just brutal.
Does our chat like a bit of
Yeah, I
blood
don't
and
think that
gore?
dentist is taking her back as a client.
No.
I don't think so. No, I don't know that she'd be able to do much dentistry work for a while.
Mm-mm. So this
Yep,
is
she's
where
gonna
we
take a little bit of a sabbatical.
more than that. She may not be a dentist anymore. She don't have a finger. Maybe she can still do it. She's one digit now.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I just
I
like
don't know.
imagine like
I don't.
them just
I
having to
don't know,
remove the
Kiwi.
finger, and she's like a 4-finger dentist.
Yeah, Kiwi. I don't know why her finger was all up in her mouth like that. That wasn't very smart.
Yep.
But yes, David's
should've
vision is
chose
very
a different
interesting.
career. Yeah, it is very interesting vision he has. Because he ends up using pain, I think, in this one, right, to cause
She
the
should have gone
vision,
down a different path.
pretty
Yes.
much. Okay, so this was a vision he had prior. He's trying to recreate this vision to figure out, and that's where he saw the demon in the wheat field with Kristen, and it went back to the Bible verse of sowing the weeds among the wheat. And so this is still his scars, I believe, from the hospital. Or no, that was actually after the hospital, right? Where he had.
Yes.
Yeah, that was after the hospital.
I
He
forget
got other
the
scars.
dude's name. Ghana?
Yeah, that's right. So he's trying to basically
scar from
force
Ghana.
the vision. Yeah. So yeah, he's trying to force the visions, and I think he gets one.
I think he puts alcohol like on a friggin' towel and just
right up to the wound that's still healing.
It's pretty funny.
And this is a vision he
This was
gets.
hilarious.
So Leland is basically kind of like infiltrating his vision. And it was actually hilarious. It's the greatest gift ever. But he's
Didn't know he had such good moves.
He's just out there dancing.
He is.
Fucking Leland.
He's
just out there in the wheat, just dancing. He's jamming. He's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. He's like, yeah.
Doing the Macarena.
Yep. He's just jumping and dancing.
But yeah, so he basically is like Leland. Sorry, go ahead. Okay.
No, I was just saying it's a one-shot scene that it was hilarious. It made you chuckle.
It was actually quite hilarious. Hello, Crypto Color. What's up, my friends? Welcome to the party. But I took that as like Leland's sort of on his mind, and he's getting sort of infiltrated. So.
Yes.
And so he basically is, with forcing the vision, he can't quite get Leland off his head. So it's kind of like coming together in one thing.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I believe the next part's coming up. You mentioned.
Dana. Oh, you got to share it back to us. There we go. All right. We are back. And yeah, so this is where, David goes to talk to the Monsignor at the time? Who they talk to about their assessments?
Bishop Marks, I believe.
And then they're telling him about the RSM fertility clinic and how they're finding these connections. And he kind of blows it off. I mean, he tells him, yes, I take it seriously, but we have more pressing things until y'all can give us more on this. You know, we've got something from higher that we have a donor that is donating all this money and we need to help him. And they find out who that someone is. They're not very happy about it. We'll just say that. It happens to be our good friend, Leland Towson. He wants to get an exorcism, and he is just so happy with himself. Oh, look at that smug face.
Yeah, look at his smile. He's just smirking ear to ear.
Essentially, this is what he wanted.
He's just like, yeah, it's me. Hello.
I don't know whether he thinks he's got them fooled or whether he's just likes to torture them.
Yeah, he is definitely trying to manipulate them, and he doesn't know how much he is yet, but he knows he's getting under their skin, but he doesn't know how far. And this is definitely one of his ways of trying to get closer to them and manipulate them and break down their faith. And throughout his exorcism, or throughout this part of him kind of assessing whether or not he can have an exorcism, he says a lot of things to each one of them that sort of is to get under their skin. I mean, this is all a game to him to just basically corrupt them or to kind of take their faith away. and they are not happy. I mean, they are just absolutely upset. They're like arguing with dude about like, Leland is just doing this all for fun. This is all a game to him. He doesn't really care about the exorcism. And of course Leland doesn't. But they're like, well, if this is, then that's part of your job, right? No matter what, you're here to assess. So assess whether or not he is, in need of this exorcism. And Kristen is pissed. She's like, dude,
Yes.
he is using
I believe
me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
we actually get the first F-bomb of the season. she gets, because now remember we've jumped to Paramount Plus, so they get to drop the F-bomb every once in a while. She's like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, because she's like, man, he was trying to get through me, to my kids and my mom, and now, he's trying to get to you, and he's basically trying to corrupt all the way through. So they say, okay, fine. They give in, and they decide to do the assessment, and he begins to talk to him, and it gets, no, you're fine.
My screenshots just keep jumping. I hit it once, and it goes like 5 of them ahead, so I apologize.
No, you're good.
My computer's being super sensitive tonight.
Isn't he using the wanting an exorcism as a pretense because he's getting married, so he's trying to, get all friendly with Kirsten?
Yes, he is marrying her mother. Kristen's mom. That is right, Ice Queen. And so, Kristen's not happy. She's going to do her best to throw him off. Anyway, I believe he begins to describe incidents that happened and sort of when he gave himself to, demonic possession. And they're basically going to have to go through and decide whether or not his stories are true or not.
G'day, Dean.
What's up, Dean?
Hey, Dean. What is up, my friend?
But yeah, what I found interesting is when he started to describe when David's like, what did the devil look like? And Leland basically gives him an exact description of the demon he saw in his visions.
Yes, that was really cool. Yeah,
and that freaks David
Leland
out.
Knows stuff. He knows stuff, and that's why they debate on whether or not Leland is supernatural or just psychopathic. So that was cool, because how does he know what they see in their visions or in their dreams? He always seems to know.
I personally think he's a little bit of both. What about you guys? He's definitely demonic, and he's definitely psychopathic.
Definitely psychopath. Yeah. I don't know if he is a demon himself. I think he might be one of the heads of one of the houses because he has a sigil attached to him. Yeah, but I don't know if he's possessed or if he's just the head of the house, so to speak, of a demonic house.
Yeah.
What about the chat? What do you guys think? Do you guys think he's a psychopath? Do you guys think he's demonic? Or do you guys think he's a little bit of both?
Nice Queen, what do you think?
I think he's a psychopath for definite, but I think there's ways you can use words to influence people, and I think he's just really good at that manipulation so that he can, as Dana said earlier, plant seeds and then let your imagination run wild. But then I'm a little bit of a skeptic, like Ben the Magnificent, so I'm always trying to find the non-supernatural answer.
What about you, Scarlett?
Yeah, no, he's definitely a psychopath. I don't know if he's like part of the demonic house or not. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from though, Ice Queen. Yeah, definitely he's crazy.
Hey. Oh, definitely. He's definitely evil, for sure. Hey, J. Ryan.
Hello. Art and Times of J. Ryan. What is up? What is up? But yeah, they go through the assessment. And
yes, hello.
And he talks about
And
it.
this
Leela, go ahead.
this was interesting. No, I was just gonna say this part was like I found really interesting.
What was it? What was it? Just because
About the bus
they had
driver.
the article, or just because he lied about it?
Just because he lied about it and then like kind of tries to cover it up. Well, I'm a demon spawn. We lie. Like, what did
Yeah,
you think I was gonna tell you the truth?
because Kristen did her own research on him and has, is able to talk to his ex-wives and stuff, and she confirmed that he never took the bus, so he couldn't have caused or had to ask the demonic forces to wreak havoc on his enemy, the bus driver. And he talks about the tattoo on the back of his ear and how it's been counting down from 10 months, I think, down to, or however many months, he's now down to like 8 months. And there's 8 on the back of his ear. And this is where he was telling Ben to, I think, about his night demon. And then Kristen walks in. But yeah, his whole assessment with them is really interesting because they all know that he's playing them or attempting to play them, and he knows that they know that. So he's trying every trick he can to sort of break them down or confuse them.
Yeah, it's this part. I don't know whether I don't think he thinks he's going to fool them. I think he's just literally toying with them because he knows they know. So it's a game to him. That's just, my impression, because he knows they're not
But
stupid.
if you
And he knows
notice,
they can find these things out. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
and if you remember back when she was sitting with Kirk was like, "Oh, there's something different about you. I can't quite place it." And then when she's sitting with Leland, he's also like, "Oh, you seem quite different today." So there, a change is happening within Kristen. Like you could just, it's very subtle at first, but you could definitely see that come episode 1 of season 2, there's definitely a different like personality within Kristen that begins to show itself. Like she smirks a lot and she kind of like has this more sexy smile she's more seductive in a way. And like, did you notice it, or was it just me? Like I just kind of saw this kind of shift in her personality from season 1 to where she was more professional to where now she like has these smiles about her and these, I don't know. I just see a change that starts within her in season 2.
Yeah, I agree with that. I did notice that as well. Because I didn't really put 2 and 2 together at first. I just thought she's acting differently. But as the episodes go on, definitely I notice it. She's more sort of, as you say, seductive in her mannerisms and things.
And as Kiwi points out, that's what murder will do to you. And there's the 8 on his head that we later find out he does to himself. They find that when they have to go search his apartment. And they get permission to go make sure and see what kind of diabolical things he may have in his apartment. And he's not too happy about this. But they insist, and he really has no choice if he wants the exorcism. So
I love this shot of his apartment because his apartment like reminds me of like a house in a horror movie. Like we're getting that shot like we're going to like the haunted mansion or the demon infested apartment building. Like it just had this horror vibe to me. So I when I took it, I was like, that just looks like your typical like murder house type of apartment.
See, crypto color, man. Sounds like you're seeing some interesting things out there, man. Definitely need to get the sage, as Jen Hack has said. Definitely break out the sage if you're seeing any kind of creepy demon spirits.
Oh,
anything
definitely
like
get some.
that.
Put the photo in the Discord. People would love to see it.
It's
We're all about
creepy
stuff like that.
pictures. Man, that is crazy, man. Hopefully, you can exercise whatever that is that you were seeing in the photos.
Good luck.
But yeah, they continue with the episode. We see them going into Leland's apartment, and yeah, they show the crucifix upside down, and just as him mocking, again, everything that they find in the apartment is more of him mocking them. They find a book in there. What was it called? There it is.
The Devil's Bargain.
Mm-hmm. I think it's even got like a picture of Trump.
And I believe
somebody It's funny.
Of course.
And even she's like, all right, we're just being mocked at this point. Like it's all satire. It's just to make fun of this whole process. And he's basically, everything in there is gone, even mirrors. Like there's no mirrors. It's just basically almost an empty apartment of anything personal. It's got
he's done
furniture.
a clean up job.
Like it's void of anything that's like homey.
Yeah, just those little.
Except for this nice little toy.
Loud toy.
Was it saying Feliz Navidad?
Yes, and I think it's singing Feliz Navidad. Yeah.
It's loud too. It's basically his alarm system, because they later find out underneath there. I think even here in this moment, but in a little bit after Ben searches around, they find the codex that they took pictures of, and Kristen's mom took off of her phone and sent to Leland.
Yeah,
and this is that's where they're looking on the hard drive, and they're trying to go through and find any files. They also, I believe, get Ben to put something on his computer so they can monitor him without him knowing, basically turning his webcam on and stuff. And then Ben goes around with his super hearing devices to go around and see if he can
some
hear
spyware.
anything. Mm-hmm. And then he goes around and listening, and he's listening for any kind of noise, and he's more surprised that he finds no noise, no ambient noise, nothing from the plumbing, and then he finds the noise from this. And this was not even playing. He just hears some weird wompy sounds coming from it, and when he pulls it out, of course, the alarm system goes off again, and they're like, oh yeah, it's just some little toy, and he's like, well, it's like an alarm system. So they pull that drawer out, and that's where they find his version of the codex. Yeah, Ben was... It really did kind of scare him when they opened it. And yeah, there's a little secret cubby hole back there. And that is where the codex is.
And I believe he says that's what the sound was. It was the sound of the paper flapping. I think is what he was hearing.
To me, it made it sound like it was something like demonic or some kind of whispers. But yeah, they're like, how did he get, these pictures? And I think even has extra writing on them. And that writing later will come in handy. So he's using lettering from like it's not just Latin. I think it's Arabic. It's like all different kinds of old text.
Yeah, I think each letter, we find out later, don't we, that each letter is a different language.
Mm-hmm. And he sort of has like a little cipher on the side here, and he's circling particular sigils for houses. And so they basically, I believe, take pictures of all this. Or because they don't take this itself because they don't want him to know that they know. And they put it all back as if they were never there. Oh yeah, they find a few sigils on there too, that matter, I believe. And then yes, the crucifix falls as Kristen walks through the door and like basically bumps her on the head. And that's where they find the ink that he used to tattoo the back of his ear. And again, Leland lying about what he was doing.
As always.
My friend, I do what you feel in your heart because when it comes to the supernatural, I do not know the true answers. I do know Sage is supposed to help, but yeah, I wouldn't want to make it worse either.
Sage shouldn't make it worse per se, but yeah, you can always, if there's websites where you can get like just like house blessings, and they call it's like a mixture of herbs. But if you DM me crypto, I have a recipe of like herbs that you can use that should help if you really want to do something. Just DM me.
So they confront Leland again, and this is interesting right here. Dana, scroll in.
Yes,
all the way in that corner.
I am.
If we remember back to David's father and his paintings in the sigil, just so happens the painting that's been in Leland's office, I believe, is one of David's father's paintings. So that is interesting. The fact that we know Leland has networked with people, as David says, evil networks, and is connecting. I'm curious to know how far the connections go between Leland and David's dad, or even Leland and David's dad's wives. And which one, because it's not clear which one really gave him the sigil. And we know that it's connected to the slave ship that David's dad and David's family, were brought on. So I don't know which wife truly gave him that sigil. But it's interesting that Leland has a painting of it.
And it's also interesting that one of the wives is pregnant, given all our connections to RSM fertility.
And her creepy little Tales from the Crypt child that I don't think we ever get to see again.
The demon baby. The demon baby.
Was that real or was that a hallucination?
Yes, Leland pulling them strings.
But that was a good catch on the painting, Scarlett. I didn't even notice that before.
I know, that was because I knew the painting looked like one of his father's. I just couldn't remember where I saw the sigil on it. And it wasn't until while we were going back over the episodes before the stream that I seen it. And I was like, oh, I finally got a good picture of it. I've got to catch that.
We thought there would be one on there, didn't we? We didn't know where.
Yeah, and we were looking and we just didn't see it. But I don't think we had a good enough picture because I believe we were also looking down at the bottom. We weren't looking up top. We were looking down at the bottom sides when we were looking at the picture, and we didn't see anything. So we just brushed it off at that point. But good catch, Scarlett. As always.
Definitely.
I know that was because that was the fact that Leland is connected to each one of these sigils in some way, as far as guiding the people or the things to the sigils. He is definitely far more powerful than we think he is. Like, he comes off as the weak person that he once was, that Kristen calls him, Jake the Flake, but he is no longer that. He is very much so intertwined in all of these sigils in one way or another.
There's always been a connection that leads back to Leland.
Mm-hmm.
I think every episode we've had so far, there's almost a connection to Leland in every one of them.
Pretty much.
From even the influencer girl to there's just so David's father to the RSM. Like, his reach is just insane to what he's able to like, and it makes you wonder, did he put all of this together, or is there still something above him? And he's kind of just like I'm trying to think of the word, like he's almost putting it into play, or if it was his plan all along. because it's such a meticulous plan. Like, did he do this really all by himself, or is there someone above him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They finish out this basically with Leland going, and they have the talk with him in here because they want Kristen to do an actual evaluation on him, and they report back and basically say that he doesn't need the exorcism, that this is all a game. But the church really didn't. It really didn't matter what they said. The church already had their mind made up, and he tries to basically gaslight him and say, "No, I listened and considered what you had to offer, but we're going to go through with the exorcism." And to be fair, Leland does need an exorcism, but he doesn't want the exorcism. And part of the exorcism is you wanting it. And so, yeah, she goes back to him to do the evaluation on him again. And then basically, okay, so yeah, he's going back to his visions.
And I believe this is when Ben is spying on Leland for the first time, and he's just kind of sitting there staring at the window. And I believe they're like, no, it's not a replay because the shadow is like changing. So they know it's not something that's like on a loop per se.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they know Leland he plays these tech games and he knows how to do deep fakes and different hacks and stuff. But yeah, so they report back and they basically don't care what they have to say.
Nope. And that's pretty much the end of that story.
Then we get to what to me is one of the best parts of the episode, and that is where Ben is finally shook.
I knew you were going to say that.
This is what I said. Would say finally shook, and this
Yes.
is the first steps to Ben questioning the difference between science and faith. Before he was pretty on firm ground. This is where things start to get rocky for him, and he gets to meet his succubus demon and his night terror. But this episode is pretty good, though.
And I believe you you have some information on what it is, right? You did some research.
Yeah. It's basically a succubus or an incubus. They're both basically nightmare demons. And they can mate with the person that they decide to prey upon. But mostly they like to just kind of mess with you in your dreams.
She's
They will
sexy.
cause sleep paralysis. Oh yeah. She takes her retainer out for him. That was top notch right there. I mean, what a lady.
That's the next episode. That's not this. That's not this one. It's the next episode. The next time he has his tree. Yeah, she takes out her nasty retainer. And he's like, "Why do you have a retainer? What the fuck?"
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Again, I love the practical effects. I just love that this is actually someone who sat for makeup for like 12 hours. And I love the practical effects of this show.
Yeah, the fact that she has one BK on there, it was pretty interesting. And why that was part of the night terror, I don't know.
Jesus, sorry.
But yeah, he gets pretty freaked out by her because,
flip-flopping all over the place on me. Come on. And then he's kind of startled awake, and I believe he goes back to spying on Ben.
Yes.
Leland. I keep calling him Ben from Lost because of last night. I got lost on the brain.
I
apologize if I accidentally called Leland Ben.
I knew who you were talking about, even. I agreed with
the Lost stream is still fresh on my brain, so I still got the Lost in there. I apologize.
But yeah,
Ben is just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, he's trying to check out what Leland's doing.
Leland, you're Leland in this episode. But you will forever be Ben.
I know, right?
And this was creepy how like Ben was like looking at Leland and like moving back and forth, and Leland was kind of almost doing the same motion as him, going back and forth, and it was freaking Ben out. It was really freaking Ben out.
Mm-hmm. And then he comes right up to the camera, doesn't he? Like he knows it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yup. And he's just laughing. And then if you notice, this isn't the first time that we've seen something glitching with Ben.
Well,
If you remember with Leland, if in the courtroom when he went up to Kristen, when Laurel was being set free, her phone glitched.
Justice times 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
So
definitely
it makes you, like,
causes
wonder.
some interference with tech stuff.
And that is pretty much the end of the episode.
Yes, that is the end of that one. N is for Night Terrors. So what did you guys think in the chat? Pretty decent episode, I think. What about you, Ice Queen? What did you think about this one?
I thought it was a very good start to the season. It brought in everything, didn't it?
Yeah.
With Kristen murdering somebody and then facing the consequences internally for that. And love the fact that Ben is now getting some night terrors and things that he can personally question. And I don't think there was so much with David this time. But no, I thought it was a great first episode to the season.
Yeah, in the first episode there wasn't much with David. Episode 2 we got a lot more with David, with the angel that we're gonna see. But this was more so about Leland setting up like his line of torment going through this exorcism. Like this is his way to just kind of stick it to them, and he is enjoying it. Like you could just tell, like I like Ice Queen, like you said, is he doing it just to torment them, or is he doing it because he actually wants to go through with this exorcism? Like it's definitely a torment factor. Like he is just, he knows that this is just absolutely getting under their skin, like Scarlett said. Like it is just, he's just digging that knife in nice and deep.
Yep. And hello, John.
Hello,
Purple John.
I did not get a nap. I'm not grumpy. You're grumpy. Oh, well, hopefully you can get a nap later, John.
Did we see that Dr. Deb is floating around? I didn't see Dr. Deb. Hi,
hey,
Dr. Deb.
Dr. Deb.
Welcome. And Starlight CC, welcome.
Hi, CC.
Yeah, guys, we just finished episode 1 of season 2 and fixing to start episode 2. A is for Angel. Which is I actually really like A is for Angel. Not just for the angel that we get, or possible angel possession, an angel possession. But I believe this is the one where Leland basically breaks up with Cheryl. Oh, it's such a good scene. She's
Jalen's favorite part.
Yes, I think this is a pretty good episode.
According to Jalen, her favorite scene.
Mm-hmm.
When they break up. She's not a Cheryl fan. Episode starts with our wonderful pop-up book of terrifying things.
Well,
and we get A is for Angel.
Hang on, Dana. It's not quite.
Which, I love this book.
All right, there it goes. There we have it. So go back a few, Dana, because it didn't quite pop up quickly. Can you hear me, Dana?
Did it pop up?
It's up now. Can you go back? Is this the first screenshot?
There we go.
Is this the first one, or was there one before this?
Do you want to continue going, Scarlett? Because I think it's easier for you to kind of explain what's going on.
Yeah, is this the first screenshot, or did we miss one or two?
It took a while loading, didn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, this was A for
Yeah,
Angel.
it would look loaded on my end, so I apologize.
Yeah, go back to the first one, please.
You know, I'm a bit
Sure.
concerned now. John comes in and suddenly all the tech goes wrong.
I know John is secretly sabotaging us somehow. But yeah, there's the book. So yeah, we get A is for Angel. And like I said, I love the pop-up book in the beginning of each one of the episodes of season 2. Some of them it's sometimes the pop-up book comes later in the episode, but for the most part they show it at the beginning, and it is always beautiful to see. But yeah, this episode is very interesting because they start off at the parish with basically, who was it, Ashley Strand, who comes to
I
him about her
believe.
husband Raymond, who was supposedly possessed by the Archangel Michael. And so this one we are dealing with,
And she's
angel
very much
possession.
pregnant and
Very
worried
much,
about what is going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because her husband is basically, to her, going crazy. He's talking about hearing from this angel. He has to give up all his possessions, and all these different things are going to happen in this episode. And it's actually quite tragic for her in the end. And so as they assess, they look over the file, and they get into...
Very much so. This was...
Sorry, go ahead.
This was very sad. The end of this episode was sad.
It is. It's very sad. And they debate... this is where Kristen and David debate about an angel possession being good or bad. And she talks about in Catholicism how, the angel basically turned, his wife into salt because she turned away from him.
Lot's wife.
Mm-hmm. So that is very interesting that Kristen mentions that at the beginning of the episode, and then what happens at the end. But they go there, and they go in the house, and it is basically somewhat empty of most possessions at this point. And he is painting, the husband is just painting these, what you would think are almost like demonic angels. But angels, of course, aren't typically beautiful, although we see them in our own eyes as beautiful. A lot of the lore would describe them as, I wouldn't say ugly or evil or monstrous, but very scary and, powerful.
But I love this.
Not human.
Shot. I love this shot of them walking into the room, and it almost seems angelic in a way. Like you see like this light coming through the doorway, and it almost seems angelic. It's not dark. It's not, dingy or dreary.
No. They seem to do that a lot within this episode. Whenever they're with him and talking about the angels, the lighting just seems so bright and really sort of reflects, particularly for Kristen, I think, as well. She's kind of haloed in a lot of the light throughout this episode.
Just such an interesting shot of just like the light that's coming through as they're entering the room where he's painting all the images.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you
that
see all
Scarlett
these different...
was mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And look, you see all the angels. And it is actually, it's just weird because he's even up here on this. But yeah, he's even standing on basically the two chairs with the a piece of wood through it, like not sturdy at all. Oh, I'm sorry, one of them was a ladder. It's like a ladder and a chair. So he's basically out of his mind with trying to get whatever Michael is telling him out. And he is drawing all these different things. This is Michael, basically, with the horn. And he's eventually going to tell him about the bowl. What was it called?
Second bowl?
Yeah, the second bowl. And it gets real dark with what Michael is going, the message Michael brings. And he wants help. Like he asks, basically at this moment, he begs David to help him. So that kind of hurts David, because if this is an angel that is possessing him and this guy doesn't want this possession, that rocks his faith on, good versus evil. But he's still skeptical. And I believe after this, do they go and does he get his vision after this?
Yes.
Oh no, they go. Yeah.
He goes for a jog.
Yeah. And he comes back.
And he gets his first glimpse of Michael.
And Michael talks to him in what? I don't know what language. I don't know if it was Latin, Arabic. I'm not exactly sure. Angelic language. But yeah, he talks to him for sure. I don't know if he tells him about the two bowls in this. Was it this scene? And he shows it to him.
Yes, he sees it, but it's his second vision that he actually gets. He speaks to him, because I put the subtitles on just to see like if they like speak the language that, and it says unaudible language. Mm-hmm. So in this first scene, they don't say what the angel is saying to him, but in the next vision, they give you the full breakdown, which I sent to you.
Okay.
Yeah, he speaks back in the same language, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But this is the second bowl.
The first time he sees him, I'm not sure you can even understand what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Creepy angel.
Yeah, I'd be terrified if that came.
It is, and it's not the angel in the traditional sense that you would think of, this beautiful, angelic, almost human-like being that angels are typically portrayed as. There's like lore saying that they're not human-like, so I like that evil went this route and didn't make the angelic figure something beautiful per se, and something more scary looking, because angels are not real in the Bible. They're not described as human. They do have other features to them, and I like that evil went that route and didn't give us the good looking, handsome, beautiful, angelic person coming down to like give this message. They kept to their theme of like dark. It still might not be something generically good. Just because it's an angel doesn't mean it's going to be something on the side of good. So I like this portrayal of an angel, if this is in fact an angel.
Yeah, because I mean, even reading up on angels, when you get into the lore of them, they're not particularly pleasant looking as what we think of when we think of angels. So yeah, I like that they went with this version of an angel.
I did too. What about you, Ice Queen? Did you like this version?
Yeah. No, I did, definitely. And yeah, I did. Because, as you say, angels are not depicted as beautiful humanoid creatures within the Bible. They have a job to do. They're the servants of God. So,
what about you guys, chat?
They have to.
Do you like this version of angel?
The demons look?
Or do you...
It was the red eyes that got me, though. That was very demon-like.
Mm-hmm. But I think even Michael describes it as, I'm an archangel. I'm not here for pleasantries. I'm here for, I believe we find out later, he sends a message of the end times, which continues with a theme that we will see throughout at this point. We find out a little bit about it with Grace. Michael's going to confirm it further. And it gets a little dark after this episode.
Did make me wonder, this is exactly what's going on in the world, and with viruses and plagues and things. So,
and as David said early on, evil is connecting. It's coming together. It's organizing, and he basically is on the floor again because I believe what he saw was it was a vision. He was not awake during that. And that's when we get Sister Andrea mopping around him and, let him know that pain is not the way to do this. He needs to find a better way to connect with God. And she teaches him that, pain is for tourists. You need to focus on your breathing. So that way, you can kind of center yourself. It's basically like meditating, clearing your mind and only thinking of God and having your breathing kind of sync up so that you can have a proper vision without having to do it in these other ways where he's been doing it with drugs or pain.
I love what she said to him, though. I'll probably misquote it, but it was, if you want to talk to God, pray. You're trying to force God to talk to you.
Yes, that was a good
quite
line.
A good point.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they treat Sister Andrea as if she's just a common nun. Basically, they treat the nuns, they don't get to be part of sort of the bigger conversations in the Catholic Church. They're basically there to help serve, to be subservient. But she holds more cards and more power than most of the higher priests in the church. She knows more, she sees more, and she'll kind of go into her backstory a little bit. She talks to David about sort of why she became a nun and why, about her visions and how she talks to God and how she kind of came to be where she is.
Yeah.
But yeah, she shows him the metronome map.
And she tells him, don't use this tonight. You're too you're too wired. She's like, well, don't try to do it again tonight. Try to do this tomorrow. Cause I think she said you're too wound up.
Yeah.
Kiwi loved the angel. Very cool and believable. It looks like Mothman. Yeah, the red eyes make it appear more evil, I would say, but I don't know, when you watch the
What's
episode,
Mothman? I don't know what Mothman is.
I'm assuming it's some evil looking moth dude. Or it's a superhero comic. Either way. I'm sure it's creepy looking.
Okay.
I mean, I've heard of Mothman
None of
before,
us
and I
know.
can't remember off the top of my head. But
I've never heard of
that
Mothman.
before.
Oh, have you? I've never heard of it.
I swear I've heard of Mothman before. I've seen a movie of something with like an evil moth thing. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, it's a real thing, Crypto? Interesting. I've never heard of it.
I don't know if I know Mothman, but man, what was that horror movie? It was something moth something. I don't remember what it was called. It's creepy.
Oh, but Kiwi says yes, it's real. Oh, we might have to look that up, Scarlett.
Yeah, I looked
now
it
I'm
up.
curious.
West Virginia.
How do we not know him?
It looks like a big bat.
None of us do.
It's like a big old bat.
Oh, Dr. Deb says it's a creature akin to Bigfoot, but with different lore attached. Interesting.
I've just seen a picture of it, and it pretty much looks like a big old. It looked like the head of a moth, and the rest of it to me looks like a big old bat.
And it eats people? It kills people? Like what? Okay, now you guys Mothman.
Okay, I thought there was a movie, yeah. Because I knew the movie. I didn't know, but I remember the movie, or being a movie, something Moth something. It was like a horror movie or something.
Oh, BK put up something.
No, looks like a man but a bath. Yeah, it's West Virginian folklore, yeah. The Mothman is
that's
seen in the Point Pleasant area from November 15th, 1966 to December 15th, 1967.
Down the rabbit hole we will go. I wrote that down. I'm going to check that out. See, you learn something new every day. Thank you.
I know. You're learning. I love a good rabbit hole. Give me some lore to
Same here. That's
discover.
why that caught my attention. Me and Scarlett are going to be in the Discord now. Like, look at this. Look at that. Did you see this? Look at this.
Yes, Betray King. Mothman was an angel. He was to inform us of the rapture back in the 60s. He tried to, we just didn't listen. Oh, man. But yeah,
And then
back to the
I guess we
episode.
Yep, they get
Yeah,
a
go
call
ahead.
to come to the hospital because Raymond was in an accident of sorts. Not the cause of it, but he saved a family out of a burning car, I believe. And
Yeah,
it
he
was a little
essentially
weird.
he left his pregnant wife in a car, and he just got like a message from Michael or something that caused him to like he was in the middle of the highway or interstate or something like that, and he goes out and just jumps out the car and finds this flaming car, and he saves what would you say, like 3 or 4 of the people, but there was one he saved everybody, but one he left in there to burn for a little while.
Oh,
But yeah,
that's
this
right. And
Or something, yeah.
But yeah, this is where Kristen meets up with another detective, and they kind of talk about LaRue a little bit. And Ben looks at her and is totally like, because Ben knows that there was something
yes,
up
her name
with her and LaRue.
Anya is her name. Because I don't think Mira is in this season. I think we see Anya this season. I don't think Mira was in this season. I don't know if there was an issue or why she wasn't in this season per se, but we see this detective when it comes to
LaRue. She got the case because Marie felt like she was too close to it because of her dealings with the prior case with him. So she wanted to hand it off, said there was no conflict of interest.
That's right.
So she's now on the LaRue case.
Mm-hmm. And on this one,
Christine's a little nervous about that.
Yeah, and they're suspecting it was LaRue's wife or even the wife's boyfriend or whatever, because LaRue's got a lot of enemies, and Kristen's just kind of playing it off. But Ben's watching because he knows, or whether he wants to admit it or not, he knows what Kristen did.
Yeah.
And he goes up to her and is like,
suspects.
is there any trouble? I need to well, are you in trouble? And she's like, trouble is my middle name. I was like, what?
Yeah, which is such an unlike Kristen comment. Yes, because when he first sees her, she has blood on her, doesn't she? And he says, oh, you've got blood on your leg. And she washes it off. And then
she's like, no, I don't have blood. What are you talking about? There's nothing there.
Me?
Look, there's no blood.
And I didn't see blood. There is no blood. Yes. So he definitely suspects something is going on.
And this is where things start to change for the husband here, for Raymond. I don't believe he's quite Michael fully yet here, but he can't. Basically, Michael's starting to take over. And I think he was describing to him about the accident.
Yep, and I believe he says Michael he's like, I didn't have the choice. It wasn't me that saved them. It was Michael.
Mm-hmm.
But here it is. This is the vision that you wanted to talk about. So it's later that night, and David sets up the metronome, and he's getting ready to relax and try to call forth the vision. And he starts to meditate and try to sync his heart with the pounding of the metronome, like Sister Andrea tried to teach him. And he kind of just envisions his heart and is trying to just relax himself. And he starts to see images of like a desert. And then if you see behind him, I don't know what this is. Though I know that's a genie lamp, but I don't know what this bug looking thing is. And it's not letting me zoom in anymore. So I don't
can't remember
know.
exactly.
Is that
I
like a
wanna
mosquito of
say-
some kind?
I want to say it's a grasshopper
Or-
of some kind, or a locust.
Could it be a locust? A
Yeah.
locust like the plagues?
Yeah,
in
that's
the
what I was
Bible?
thinking. Like the grasshopper locust things.
Yeah.
And it's
Because that's
interesting
clearly
you
a
have the
genie bottle or a genie
yeah,
lamp.
and we'll get into that in the next episode.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, the genie bottle.
Yeah, I almost took that as a foretelling.
Mm-hmm.
I took it as meaning remembering it for the next episode, thinking back to this. Just like when David starts to deal with his night terror, this reminded me of almost like the night terror that David soon starts to deal with. Like it's a foretelling of what's to come almost.
Yeah. It's not a firefly, is it? Just thinking along those lines.
I thought it was a lotus. Kiwi says she thinks it looks like a dragonfly, and BK says cicada body invaders. It could be anything. Yeah, Genie the smoke spirit, and we will get to the gin in the next episode. So that's why I thought when we saw the Genie bottle or lamp that was telling for F is for fire.
Same. That's what I thought.
And then I thought that was a locust or lotus, the little grasshopper plague little bugs that come out and destroy everything.
And then we get to the fun part.
Yes, this is where the angel actually communicates with David, where David can understand him. But David, with the vision, basically called him. Whether David meant to or not, he called him for this vision. And so, why did you call me? And then, if you are the Archangel
Michael, what is the second bowl?
Yeah, and the angel proceeds to, I believe, tell him about it. And this is so crazy. It's God's penance. And this vision is actually really cool.
And he replies, God's penance. And then David says, what is it? And he says, a weapon more powerful than 10,000 swords.
Mm-hmm.
Half the world will be dead. And now you start to see almost like this apocalyptic future that is, you see the buildings in ruins, you see this red sky, you see like the lightning, almost like God's wrath, like being brought down onto the world.
It's his rebirth.
And
it's the world's rebirth, basically.
Says, David replies, to what end?
Mm-hmm. And it's for the rebirth, yeah. And this, so we already get from Grace them talking about the apocalypse. We're now getting, only after devastation do you get rebirth. So Michael is confirming basically that we are coming to the rapture, so to speak. And I love how David tries to say, well, why? There's got to be enough good people in the world. And he talks about Babylon, I believe. What happens to all the people. The innocent people who did nothing.
And that makes Michael angry.
Mm-hmm. Who are you to question the Lord and his purpose, basically, and his plan?
And Michael's like, who are you to question the Lord? He gets very defensive when David asks that question.
Yeah. And then we get to, yep, God is the measure of the just. And this whole dialogue between them is really good. I believe, is this where he starts talking about Babylon and how, if there was any, I think it was Babylon he was talking about, if there was just like 10 people or something like that were
In his
innocent.
next conversation with Raymond.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what else was all in this conversation. Let's see. Go back to the notes.
That's it. That's how it ends.
Okay. Oh, it ends with him
And
seeing
then
the next
David
plague.
looks to his computer. Yep. Mystery illness.
And this whole season, of course, when it was filmed during, I believe, COVID. So
yes,
when I watched some of the inside the episodes, they were going to do a lot of other things, but because of COVID, they only could film in certain places. So they were trying to not completely make it about COVID per se, but also still give you that idea of plagues that are happening. So that was interesting. Because during the time, that would have been super creepy thinking about, okay, we're during COVID and then they're talking about plagues. That's nice. But yeah, so we get back and this is where Raymond is no longer
Yes,
Raymond.
I like how they fit it into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he is fully taken over by Michael at this point.
Yeah, and this is where it gets interesting because they start...
I still love that image. I love that image.
Of Michael.
Yeah. Like, it's just such a cool looking... It's just cool looking.
Mm-hmm. So this, like I said, he's basically no longer Raymond, and as they question him, Ben notices this patch on the back of his ear, and it's for his job basically to help him with vertigo. And some of the side effects are like hallucinations and stuff. So they associate, of course, Ben associates the patch with the problem of why he thinks that he is basically Michael. And if he takes the patch off, then the symptoms should avail themselves. So Ben's always ever...
But this is where David speaks to Raymond about Babylon. Mm-hmm. When you were like, when does he mention Babylon? It was when he has this conversation with Raymond now. And Raymond's like, oh, you saw him, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he came to you. And we get another flash of that apocalyptic background with the buildings in ruins, a red sky, smoke. So they're definitely hinting towards like the raptures.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And these were really good scenes with the visions. Visions are usually some of the good scenes. Now David's like, what? What do you mean you know about my vision?
Agreed.
How would you know?
And I believe he says to him, but what if there are 10 people or 10 righteous souls?
Yeah,
like
he does.
God
Something
said he
like
wouldn't
that.
have destroyed Babylon. And Raymond's like, but there weren't.
There weren't, and Babylon was destroyed.
And he walks out.
Yep. And the poor wife, too, because she's having to do everything that he's telling her to do. They're giving away all their money, all their possessions. They're basically going to not even live in a house. But yeah, that is where we get to the side effects. And Ben really explains to them what the patch is about. I love how they go into all the science, though, and Ben's constantly trying to debunk it all. But yeah, we get Kristen. Okay, so yeah, the detective comes back to ask her more questions about Raymond because they find out that he basically let a dude burn up for a little while in the car. But Kristen freaking out because the detectives at her house, and the murder weapon is basically in the closet. And she looks at it and like closes the door and walks outside, trying to make it nonchalantly like it's there, but it's not there. And she goes outside to talk to the detective. Hey, what is up, Buddha Cafe? What is going on? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, hello.
We're diving into episode 2 of season 2 of Evil. So I can't remember, did she ask her anything about LaRue in that moment? I think it was about Raymond, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
think so.
She
I
doesn't
think
mention
Kristen
LaRue in that
thought
and
she
LaRue
was
in that
going
moment,
to.
but Kristen
Yeah.
is definitely worried that she was. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And BK's got all the like behind the episode videos and stuff, and we were putting all that stuff in the Discord. I will try to put a link up while y'all want to continue talking about this next part, Dana. I'll put the link in the chat.
Yep. And then Kristen and David, they're just back at the church and they're just discussing like what to do with this case. And Kristen is saying that the detective told her that one of the family members he just let burn while he was holding up the car for a full minute before he saved him. And when they go back to question him about it, Raymond basically explains that, or Michael, I'm sorry, basically explains that God wanted to give him a chance to save his soul so that he can find redemption because he molested the little boy that Raymond pulled out of the car, and that God told him he needed to experience a minute of hellfire so that he may repent and save his soul. And now he can carry the scars of what happened to him, whatever, for the rest of his life, and he'll never be able to molest another child again. And they kind of don't know how to answer that, because it's like, okay, if he is a child molester, like, does that justify the hesitation on saving him? But also, how would he know about something like that if it's actually the truth? So this again starts to make them wonder, okay, is this just psychosis or is it something more? Because now he knows things about a man he's never met, a family he's never interacted with. And if he's right, is that proof that something is within him, angel or not?
Yeah.
And the
what he did
kind of goes on between like, is it something just? What do you guys think? Do you think it's acceptable that he let the molester burn in the car just because of that fact? Or does that make him immoral in a sense, because everybody should, like, all people are equal? So even in the eyes of the law and doctors, it doesn't matter what the person does. You still have to save their life. You still have to represent them in a court of law. Like, you can't hold that to account when it comes to certain things. So does that make angels or God, like, that's where the debate comes in. Like, is it just for God to do something like that? But, you know, so it really brings that debate into play of a life that's worth it and a life that's not worth it.
Well, he didn't kill him. He just made sure that he would no longer be allowed to do the offenses that he committed. He stopped him so he will no longer commit the sin. Now, whether that's just or not, I have no idea. But that was the thought process behind him. Michael was telling him this information. And like I said, he's slowly but surely being just completely taken over by Michael. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm assuming for an angel that's justified, because an angel is subservient to God. So whatever God would say would be what he would have to do, or what it would have to do. Now, as far as man's law, of course not. But he didn't commit a murder. All he did was stand there, and he didn't have to save the man, to be fair. So law, I don't know if they would. I don't know how they would charge him or not for not saving him fast enough.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those questions, isn't it? About what's moral and what's not.
Definitely.
And I have no answer,
Mm-hmm.
in all honesty, because that is a question that I don't know what I would do in certain circumstances, whether that would be wrong or right. And I think at this point as well, Kristen considers what she did. Was it moral and just because, he was a threat to her family?
Yep.
And he can't hurt anyone again. So was she righteous in doing what she did, or was she not? It is definitely one of those questions, isn't it, that
Absolutely.
it's difficult to answer. Does one murder justify another murder? I don't know.
Absolutely. And yeah, she definitely feels proud of herself, or at least she's battling with it. But part of her during the first part of the season, she feels absolutely justified. But I think it
Yes.
bothers her later because she gets away with it. And she doesn't like that feeling.
Yes. And she feels like almost it's because I knew the police, and the police like helped me in a sense. So that definitely weighs on her. Yep.
She felt like she got privileged and that she got away with it. And so yeah, she later it comes back to I'd say to haunt her, so to speak. But yeah, they're back and they are I'm assuming they are discussing the event.
But it definitely becomes a factor.
Mm-hmm. And is this when they don't talk to Andrea again in this one?
And this is when the nun comes in and says that the wife and would really like to speak to them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And the wife is just like she really needs help. She's like debating whether at this moment if she's going to leave him or not. Because she's like, he's telling me I'm not allowed to work, that I have to be subservient to him, that like he got rid of like all her makeup and all her belongings and possessions, and like she's like, I can't have a baby with nothing. She's like, I'm and Kristen's like, listen, we're gonna go over there, just go back home. We're gonna come over and we'll do our best, and I have a place for you to go if you do want to leave him in the end. Like, I'll help you go to, like, I think it was like a shelter or some kind of like woman's kind of outreach place. And she's like, we'll get you the help if it comes down to that. But like, don't do anything right now because that might break him in a way. And we don't want to push him further to the edge until we can figure out like what's kind of going on. But the wife is like totally, she's like, I have no idea what to do.
Yep. And so they go back the next day.
And then I guess they agree.
Yeah, that something needs to be done. That this is not a good situation.
And the house is just empty.
Absolutely empty. And they go back in there and they call out to find them. And they go upstairs and find Raymond. And a pile of, they ask where his wife's at, and he kind of just looks and points to the pile of salt, I believe, because she turned away from him.
Yep.
She lost faith
to it, and there she is.
She lost faith.
He says to him, she looked back like Lot's wife.
Mm-hmm.
It circles back to that first comment, doesn't it, that Kristen made?
So sad. This broke my heart. This broke my heart.
There's no Ben explanation. That's what confused me. There is no explanation for it. Did he kill her and put salt there, or
did she turn into salt?
I
know, right? Which one is it?
I was waiting for an explanation as to how.
You almost see the outline of her body though, like on top of the salt. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's her head.
I
That
didn't
looks like
notice that
legs.
originally. Just now with the free screen, yeah.
So did he like drown
Yeah,
her
I
in
didn't
salt, or
notice
did she actually turn into salt? Like, and they don't speak on it. I don't think we get a callback yet to this episode or any type of explanation. I think this is one of the rare episodes where it's still left kind of
Where they just
ambiguous and
walk
unanswered.
away. Yeah, they just sort of walk away because they're so overwhelmed with the situation. They don't even like. They just kind of walk away from it. They don't even go further into like the Eric situation. They just assume he's dead and they walk away with the little boy. So yeah, that was definitely an interesting part of the episode because it goes back to what Kristen said, at the beginning, and how, when she turned away from her husband, she got turned into salt, turned away from that angel.
Yes, and then I believe we get the Leland part of the episode.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I'll pull up
I
now.
love this part. The Leland and Cheryl relationship, their wedding that they are preparing for.
Yep.
Yeah, Booty Cafe. It's hard to say what happened to him because, he's mentally not well, so I doubt he would have been found guilty of anything as far as not saving the guy in the car. But
the chat think? Does the chat think she turned into a pile of salt? Did he drown her in salt? What do you guys think?
But yeah.
What do you think, Scarlett? Do you think she just turned into a pile of salt? Do you think that...
Yeah.
I'm curious what you guys think.
Yeah, I definitely think it's the callback to what Kristen said at the beginning as far as, the angel and turning, her into salt. So I think it's definitely something along those lines. What about you, Ice Queen?
Well, I'll obviously be the skeptical one. So I think, no, he's, after seeing the body outline in the salt, no, I think he killed her and then drowned her in salt.
Interesting. Drowned her in the salt. Was her body still there? It just like disappeared?
I think it's still there under the salt. There's just so much salt on it. That's why you can just see the body within the salt.
Oh, okay.
The outline of it, the shape of it.
Yeah. She is the salt. Or salting.
You're salty.
I want to see supernatural things, but my brain just automatically tries to justify it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's totally what this whole show is about, trying to figure out if it's science versus supernatural. But yeah, I love this part of the episode. And John, salt is a preservative of old. Yes, it is. But yeah, this is where Leland and Cheryl are going over. They're preparing for their wedding. They're going, the cake test or tasting. And Leland really at this point is kind of over Cheryl. He doesn't feel like he needs her anymore. He's more worried about his exorcism. And he's like basically like blows off what they're doing, and he's actually quite irritated in this moment. And I love the part where he basically thinks of
he gets a phone call from David telling him that the exorcism will be like put off or because there's backlog or something.
Yeah. So Leland gets quite irritated in this moment. And he's basically done, I think, with picking out cake. And I love this. This is just basically in his brain.
Just a
thinking about what he wants to do to this wedding planner. And he grabs the bride and groom and sticks it in the side of her head. He's daydreaming. This is Leland's daydreams. And yes, that is the story of Lot. Yes, the Genesis
I
story
love his
about.
facial expressions. He has some of the best facial expressions.
Mhm.
He does.
But yes,
For me, he's
Kiwi.
definitely the best character in this whole thing.
Yeah, he is definitely my favorite. But I'm starting to come around to Cheryl, mostly not because I think she's a good person, but I just like how she handles Leland.
She does do that exceptionally well.
But yes, Kiwi has the lore of the Lot and the angel
Dumpster.
and how he was turned into salt. Very nice, Kiwi. So Kiwi does think she is salt. Alrighty. Buddha Cafe instead of Babylon. Wish this episode talks Sumerian
Oh, so she
times
thinks
because Sumerian.
supernatural.
Because Sumerian Kuna writings are way older, like Book of Enoch times, that talk a lot about dark angels. Ooh, interesting. I'm gonna have to,
Something else to look up now.
research. Yes, y'all are giving me so many good things to look up.
Notate that, John. Take notes. Notate that.
Yes,
Sumerian legends.
yes. Jen Hack says Sumerian legends are great. We are gonna have to look into that.
We certainly are.
The Kiwi loves Cheryl after the breakup. Yeah, Leland hurts her right here pretty bad when he basically, I mean, very rudely tells
They
her
get
off.
back in. Oh, yeah. Rude is not. He is like, you needy old lady bag of like nothing. I was just using you to get to your daughter. Like, he lets the insults fly. He is not gentle at all.
Oh no, but
I hated every second with you.
yes, he was pretty brutal to her.
He didn't sugarcoat it.
Not even the least little bit.
Not even a little.
No.
Not even a little.
John's on. He's getting them notes, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
But yeah, so then we get what? We get back to some lucid dreaming. What's this with Ben?
Yes, your favorite.
Yeah, so Ben's
I know
doing
you
some
love talking
research
about
on
lucid dreaming.
Yeah, so he's doing some research on the lucid dreamings after his little encounter with his succubus, his Abbey demon, is invading his dreams. So he continues to spy on Leland, and he talks to David on the phone. And let's see.
Did we ever decipher this letter?
I do not believe so, because this is more of what I think.
Did anybody ever able to decipher this letter?
I don't think so, because
I don't think so.
I believe this is going to get into what Sister Andrea does for them. I believe at the end of this episode, leading into F is for Fire. It might even actually be at the beginning of F is for Fire. But Leland uses different letters from different languages. So I do not know what all the letters are yet or what languages. But yes, this is definitely more of the puzzles and things that we are working on.
I'm interested to see if this says what this could possibly say.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's something he's typing at the moment, isn't it? Because Ben's
looking
to what Leyland's, what keys he's typing.
Yeah, and this is more of that same sort of writing that was on the sigil codex that they found in Leland's sort of side notes that Leland put on there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we got to figure out all the letters and what they are, because I'm assuming he's possibly using, like, it could be anything like Egyptian to Arabic to Latin, you know, I'm assuming all old languages possibly.
Oh, it's definitely
Yeah.
old. And even like when Sister Andrea explains what languages are used, it's like Sumerian, like it's old stuff.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Jen Hack, yeah, lucid dreaming. I don't know if it has. I mean, I'm assuming you might be able to astral project through your lucid dreams, but lucid dreaming is more about what Crypto is saying and about how you know you're dreaming and be able to have control over those dreams to manipulate them, to change them. Basically, when people talk about they're able to fly in their dreams and actually control that, create doorways to go away from night. It's basically what was used for people who have reoccurring nightmares, and so they could get control over their dreams. And that is where the night terrors and the dream demons come in, and our succubuses and incubuses come in, because they are part of why they are trying to lucid dream in order to gain control over their nightmare and to basically essentially kill it. So yeah, this was weird. Because is this when they figure out? Oh, is this where he figures out they found his little secret hideaway?
Yeah.
So now he really
Yes.
realizes that they know about his codex and his version of it, which has all the writings on it. And he is pissed off, boy. He goes to Cheryl, I believe, after this, and this is my favorite part, or one of my favorite parts. Yeah, he's got a little red string there to help let him know if anybody's been in there or not. And he calls up Cheryl and kind of tries to tell her, like, you bitch, why did you let your daughter know about this or that? And she's basically like, let me tell you something. And she grabs slaps the shit out of him, too.
Hell yeah.
Straight up slaps him, grabs his arm, and lets him know, look, you're not controlling me anymore. It was the best thing ever.
Slaps the taste out his mouth.
Straight up.
Not once.
I love Cheryl in this moment. I mean, she's evil as all get out. But yeah, I love how she just takes back that control from Leland. And Leland actually likes it in his sick Leland kind of way.
Right? In a sick fucking way. Does he not like get turned on a little bit? And I'm like, ugh. Ew.
Yeah, he likes to be abused.
So, but she smacks the shit out of him.
He doesn't like Needy. So when Cheryl came off as Needy, he was just using her. But now Cheryl is coming into her own and letting him know, I've dealt with demons before, worse than you. And I don't know if she means figuratively or literally. But yeah.
Literally. Do you know how many demons I've dated before you? Or worse demons I've dated? Something like that.
Awesome, Buddha Cafe. Yes, put all the great links in the Discord. We will definitely check them out.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, we sure will. Put them in. Should he put them in the evil channel?
Yeah, we do have an evil channel in Jeremy's Discord, so you can put it there. Or if you just want to put it in the general, it's fine as well. But yeah, we do have a channel for all things evil.
We sure do. And there's lots of good goodies in there.
Now, don't we?
BK put all our little goodies in that evil channel.
He certainly did. It was working through my
this
daytime,
part was great
so
when
I don't know whether that
gets back to
he gets back to his office. Is this where we meet his office friend? Where Leland gets his own personal therapist?
Not yet. Nope. It wasn't in the 3 episodes.
Okay, that comes
I think it happens in a few more episodes.
Is this when
this is when Cheryl leaves him the nice little message.
Yeah.
Die, you stupid pig fuck.
She licks it.
Hashtag I love you. Die, you stupid pig fuck.
He just wants to know if it's her blood.
Yes, he does.
He licks it.
He fucking does. He's so gross. And he's like all excited. He's like, ooh, blood. You really did your thing there, Cheryl.
Yeah, Cheryl. Yes.
all
Oh, he's
excited.
licking it up. It's so gross. But yeah, so he's. I can't remember. Does he go back to Cheryl after that, or try to get with her? It brings
Takes
her
her some
like,
wine or something, doesn't
yeah,
he?
he brings her a
Yes.
bottle of some kind of alcoholic beverage. And I don't know, she closed the door in his face the first time, I think, and then she opens it back up to. She's done with him, basically. At this point, anything from him is, she could care less about. And she's going to make him feel 20 times, 1,000 times worse than he ever made her feel. So, yeah, he knows it, and he loves it. She pours the liquor on his feet, at least a good portion of it. But,
yeah, Kiwi Skirt, it was whiskey. I originally thought it was wine, but then from this shot, you could see it was whiskey. I loved the way she tipped half of it on him and then took the other half for herself. Like, there you go.
mm-hmm.
That's your half.
I
And
think
I'm
she
having the rest.
slightly took him back in a transactional way, like, I don't like you, but maybe I'll find use for you. Like, I have more on you than you have on me, so, kind of thing. But then we get back to the church with him doing, I believe he's still Leland's going through his assessment for the exorcism, and this is the first time that the sister Andrea gets to meet Leland, and she smells him and she's like, oh my god, you smell foul as fuck, dude. Like, who are you? What are you? Because she senses demons. Like, she can see demons. She just all the stuff with our sister here. And he is just like, well, that's very rude of you. And like, who are you? And so, yeah, she's basically like trying to pray. She grabs her cross on her necklace or crucifix.
I don't like when
and
people
just
question my
praying.
hygiene.
Yeah, that was funny. And she's praying, and David walks in, basically, because he's supposed to be doing his. Oh, I remember what it was now. He had to do his confession. Had to give confession to David. And she wants to stay, but she's not allowed because it's confession. And he tells her, Leland says, go off and run off, the little nun, and clean or do what you do. It's, this is for the big boys. You're not allowed here. And he goes through his confession. And the whole confession is really just to taunt David. And David has the rosary in his hand. And as Leland basically goes through his sins, and especially when he gets to what he did to Julia. Was it Julia? David's sort of ex, or person that he did drugs with and stuff, and I believe she overdosed and died. And so yeah, David is just basically grabbing it so hard as to leave basically cuts in his hand from it. But yeah, Leland's just being a complete jerk. I mean, he's got it written out and he's not taking it seriously at all. And David really is just doing the best he can to get through it.
No.
Sorry, go ahead, Oh My Queen.
He's trying to get a reaction out of David, and David just doesn't give him the satisfaction.
He really is. He's trying very hard not to punch him.
And he even says in the, at the end of confession, God forgives you.
Yep, and he's like, is that
I
it?
expected him to say, but I don't, but he didn't.
No, David is trying very hard to hold to his faith and be, do his job without letting Leland get to him. But he still got to him. He just did everything he could to not show it to Leland because his hand was truly messed up. And he goes back to his room where Sister Andrea is waiting for him. And she's now basically ready to help David because she realizes how bad Leland is. But Leland's not satisfied. He was kind of like, what, that's it? But yeah, you see there his hand, David's hand, and the rosary, and he's bleeding from how closely he held it in his hand. I mean, he was just basically, he wanted to punch Leland, and instead he hurt himself. But yeah, Leland definitely knows how to push the buttons. And there's our good sister, ready to help.
Telling him, like, what can I do to help? Yeah. Like, what do you need from me?
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much the end of that episode. A is for Angel.
Yes.
And she is looking, I think, at his visions, or even,
yes,
I don't think she looked at the codex. It's his visions, drawings. But yeah, so what did you guys in the chat
Yeah,
think? What
just
about that
looking at the
episode?
yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ice Queen.
No, I was just agreeing. Yes, she's looking at his drawings here. I think it's the beginning of the next episode where he starts to show her more
Yep.
stuff.
Yep. I'm pulling those up
Absolutely.
now.
But yeah, so you guys in the chat, what do you think? Was it a pretty good episode? What was your favorite parts? What are you guys thinking about Leland, Cheryl, all of our
What did you think of that
characters?
vision? That vision was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
With that's still in season 2. Like, this is one of my favorite episodes. I love this Angel episode.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, this is where we starting to see things that make me think it's more supernatural. Because I still think she turned into salt. I think she turned away from her faith and turned into salt. And it was so creepy to think that. Because that makes it more real on the supernatural scale.
Mm.
But anything is possible. He could just have
That's what I love about this
the
show.
supernatural
Like, I
in
just
this.
love
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
love this. Like, they still kind of leave it up to you. They still are like, we'll give you answers, but it's still up to you whether you're going to believe that those answers suffice what we're showing you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the burning of the hand, he gives her an answer with the cobalt. Like, it's so, I love how they leave it up to you as a viewer to which way you want to go with it.
Yeah, they definitely leave it open for interpretation either way. For the most part, there's a few episodes where I think I'm like, okay, yeah, it's very supernatural, but they still leave it pretty ambiguous.
I think they're edging towards the supernatural, though, because some of the explanations are just, yeah, I suppose so, but it's not really feasible. Like with the heated iron in the drawer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's possible, but very unlikely.
Yes.
And
In this episode,
and with this,
go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry.
No, sorry, I don't even know what I was saying. Yeah,
but no, this next episode we get into, F is for fire. By the end of it, it makes me feel almost positive there's supernatural things afoot. As we are going to get into Jins and more of the RSM fertility kits. We get into the codex more, as we can already see on the screen. This episode I really do enjoy. And it is very fiery, even from the beginning of the episode. So far. Is it? Yeah, I like this one. It's really good. I think
so, yeah.
What about you, Dana?
So the episodes, yes, I love that we get a little more into the codex, and I love the Jinn. I love just how the Jinn looks and just its incorporation into the show. And I like that we get to see a different faith in this episode. It's not just Catholic. We get to see like an Islamic side to the story, and how another faith might interpret a demon or a monster. We're not just seeing it from the eyes of a Catholic in this episode.
And that's interesting you say that, because in the behind the scenes or whatever, look into the episode of this episode, they do talk about how there are other religions that do exorcisms. So they thought it would be interesting to bring in two different faiths doing an exorcism and having them work together in that battle between the faiths. So that was, they definitely were trying to show that. And yes, Crypto, they are going to have a new season anytime now. We are waiting on a release date. It is supposed to be mid-spring. So really anytime they should be starting to release something. I'm assuming possibly in April, but we'll see, maybe even in March. We know it's not February, but yeah, we're definitely looking out for anything that they are going to start promoting for it. And Dr. Depp, I opted for Supernatural the moment the goat man turned around in the chair at the end of season 1. Yeah, it was definitely something. Yeah, you start seeing the demons with Leland and stuff. Yeah, it makes you feel like it's all supernatural with a little crazy in science, of course, to manipulate. But yeah, but we start this. We're gonna start on this episode talking about where David and Sister Andrew. He's showing Sister Andrew the codex, the copy of the codex with the 60 demonic houses. And at first glance, she scrolls with him and looks kind of at it and tries to see what it is. And I believe they decode the letters. She figures out what the lettering and the languages are, and they come up with a name, I believe. And it is Matilda.
I do, yes.
Matilda Mowbray. Mowbray? I don't know if I'm saying her last name right.
Yeah.
And when David looks into it,
Mowbray.
Mowbray. Yeah, I'm terrible at reading.
Yep, and the languages that he uses to do his alphabets are Assamese, Cyrillic, Syriac, and Burmese. Those are the languages, and those are ancient languages. They're not like languages that are used like in
common languages
in the sense of today.
Similar like Latin and such, I would believe. But I believe the show writers did not want to use.
But just you could see some pictures.
Mm-hmm. I believe the show writers, they said they didn't want to use actual demons that we know of in our actual Catholicism. They wanted to sort of make up their own. So instead of, I think, using Latin as what most people typically think of when they think of Catholicism and demonic things, or the exorcism, you typically speak Latin. I think they wanted to use other dead languages that most people aren't as familiar with, as far as people who watch these kinds of shows. But yeah, so she sees it and she decodes it, and they get to their next case. Because after she decodes it and finds out the name of the child, David, I believe, looks into it. And he finds that she is, in fact, that the family has contacted the church for help.
This is just the coda.
Yeah, so
so basically what happened was, yes, they do contact the church, but they are not there because of the church. They're there because they discovered Matilda's name dealing with RSM. When they get to Matilda's house is when they discover that they also contacted the church. They just were not aware of it at the time until they bring it up, because she's like, oh, you show up now. We contacted you 2 months ago. You must be busy. And that's kind of what David goes as, like, yeah, we're just busy. You're right. So they don't end up bringing up the RSM thing like they were originally going to. They were going to use that as their way in, but she answered the door as in, oh, we've been waiting for you and it's been 2 months. So they used that as their in compared to bringing up the RSM fertility in the beginning. So let me pull up the Jinn photos.
Yeah, so they definitely are starting. They're going to make a lot of connections with that, and this is one of the first ones they make with that map. And I thought it was very interesting too, because this little girl, as we get into the episode, I believe she has 2 problems. One, she's going to have the fact that she is a child born or made basically from the RSM fertility. And then she's going to have to deal with the Jinn. So she's basically got 2 things that are sort of intertwined with her. And I think that she's always going to have that fire with her. That's part of sort of her powers through the RMS fertility. But the Jinn somehow is connected through her mother and her mother's Islamic faith.
Yeah.
And we lost Dana.
I agree. We have lost Dana. Hopefully she'll be back in a moment.
Yes. I will open up the next ones for us. Give me just
Yeah, I think
a
maybe the Jinn
moment.
connects to her because of her ability
There
with
she
fire.
is. There she is. I got the boot.
Oh,
Welcome
well,
I'm
back.
sorry,
Dana.
my whole house just flickered on and off.
Oh no, it's evil. It's Leland and his
We
powers.
literally like just had a 2-second like on and off. Everything in my house just turned off and now back on. I apologize for that.
No, that is you were
That
fine.
was so friggin' creepy. I was sitting here and I was like, what the hell was that? And then like all of a sudden everything just like rebooted itself.
Yes,
So
Kiwi.
I'm just sitting
Leland
here.
visited Dana. Be careful.
It was the
Leland,
whole
he's about.
neighborhood though, because I even just looked outside the window too, and all the lights went off
But
outside.
look.
So
The show
it
takes
wasn't
place
just
in New
my house.
York, and you know, basically New York.
Right? That's it. That's it. I'm coming. You're gonna have a house guest, Scarlett. I'm coming to you. That's
You need to get out of Leland and their grasp up there. It's
That's it.
evil up there.
I'm going to live with Scarlett. I gotta get out of here. It's just another sign that I gotta get out of this shithole state.
Yep. You gotta get out of this place.
Power grid right.
It's gonna turn into From or something.
Right. Crypto's talking about crazy images in his pictures. See, I'm being punished for trying to tell him to get rid of it. I'm sorry.
You're pay your light bills, girl. Just kidding.
That's it. I'm gonna have to use the sage now.
Crypto, the whole neighborhood needs to pay their light bills. The whole neighborhood
possibly.
Maybe it's Michael.
Fuck they spend their money on around here.
No, if Michael's
but I was
here,
literally sitting here and all of a sudden everything just went dark.
That's scary.
Like I was like, oh my god, did I really just have a friggin' power outage? Like, and there's no bad weather. There's no lightning, no rain, like no anything. So yeah, okay, I'm a little creeped out, but that's just me. So let's try this one more time. Are we gonna be good? Electricity?
I hope so.
Oh my god, like I was like, no.
As Kiwi says.
I don't know what it is, but
I'm scared if it's Michael. That's really bad, freaky. Kiwi. Leland, at least it's not quite the end times Michael comes, then we know it's bad. You get God's rebirth.
I think if it was the whole street, you're okay. It was just a power surge. You're fine. If it was just your house, well, maybe.
Crazy lady running around the neighborhood burning weeds. It'll be on the news.
Right? Instead of Mamaroneck being on the news for the naked person, we're going to be on the news for, you know, all these different power outages and surges now. Great. Wonderful. There we go. Okay, back to business.
It's probably just some electrical thing. But yeah, it's definitely creepy because we're talking about evil. And we know how Leland likes to manipulate things. Yeah. But this is our pop-up right at the beginning. And we are on
like what the hell?
For fire. I know, it's definitely creepy. Love it. F is for fire. It's really good.
There's the page of fire.
Yes.
I love this pop-up one.
It's pop it, do the pop-up. I want to see the pop-up.
And it shows the little girl inside.
She comes out through the pop-up.
Well, we know how you love fire, so this is definitely going to be right up your alley.
It's fire.
This had Scarlet written all over it.
It's fire. But yeah, this one's really good because we are going to get to meet.
So if you want to just, I was gonna say, why don't you talk about it?
Yeah,
just in case I have another little surge of energy over here.
But yeah, so they go to the house to meet, or to go ask, just about the child, and of course, like Dana, you already said, they were already expecting the church, but they were not there for that reason. So they are slightly caught off guard, but they go with it. And they let them in to meet, I believe they go to meet the little girl. And of course, her parents are of both, one is Catholic, I believe, and the other is Islamic. So they have both faiths in the household, and they raise her with both faiths. But she has kind of had this little problem with, we'll just say, fire. And so, let's see, so the husband is Catholic, and the mother is Islamic. So they explain they had Matilda for about a year, and during that time, mysterious fires have happened that sparked concerns, and that her biological mother was arrested for setting the room afire. So, was she adopted? I'm trying to remember if she was adopted then.
Well, they wanted to adopt her, but I don't know whether they didn't because of the fires, or they want to find out. But they did say that they wanted to adopt her.
Okay, so
But
they
then
haven't
she speaks to
adopted
her
her
mum
yet.
as well. So whether she's fostered by, well, I guess she is fostered by them, because I don't want to spoil it, but in a little bit later,
yes, I believe she's
said,
fostered at this point.
You know, I get angry after talking to my mum because I miss her. And then she says that a little bit later on.
Yeah, sort of like her anger sparks the fire, almost like oh my god, what is it? There's a supernatural term for fire starter. So she's basically like a fire starter. And
Arsonist.
but like a legit like fire starter. I don't remember, you watched Supernatural, there was a child that I believe he was called a fire starter. I forgot what they called him. I just gonna call him a fire starter.
Yes.
And they are
in any show that I've seen, they're fire starters.
Yeah. And it usually has to do with their of course things manifest in adolescence, and then basically their anger is highly attached to that until they can control it. So typically when they're angry, they will start fires without meaning to. And she has a lot of that happening to her. But on top of that, when she's talking to Kristen goes in the room and she has this little tea set that's red. Of course, again, the red thing that Kristen needs to be leery of. This little girl has the same tea set as her little girls. This little red tea set with butterflies on it. Again, butterflies. The butterfly theme is going to carry through season 3. By the end of season 3, that butterfly is going to be a big signal to what is to come, I believe. So we're going to carry these themes of reds, of butterflies. There's little things like this that are carried. And I don't know if you can see in the back right now of this screenshot, Dana, little X back there. I don't know why, but I feel like there's all these little things that the writers put in these episodes that a lot of us are trying to figure out. And it's subtle things that you don't even see. It'll be on the back of a bed frame or even like this. And I'm curious if that is one of the sigils, but it's probably just an X on the back of something.
Ooh.
But this show really does make me look at every little.
I love your brain, Scarlett. I really do. I love your brain.
So I don't even know. I just seen that right now, so I'm just curious because, like I said, they're throwing these little subtle details that you don't quite pick up. But when you see them in these like freeze frames and you think back or you know what's to come, and as I've been going back through, I'm like, oh yeah, what about this? What about this? So yeah. And the little girl continues to tell Kristen, I believe this is where she tells her about the man. Let me look at the notes. A fiery man in her closet, I believe that tells her. Oh yeah, she's not allowed to talk about it.
I think she starts the story with telling Kristen how, that the man's been following her ever since she was little. That it's not just something that manifested like a week ago. Like this is something that's been with her from when she was really, really young.
And I think she blames him for the fires for the most part. She says she doesn't start them.
Yes.
And she looks through the closet and is like, he's in there, but he's not. And of course, Kristen, nobody can see what she's talking about. And she talks to the team. Of course, they consult. And I believe they decided, I can't can't remember if this is the point where they decide to go with exorcism. Let's see. As soon as they okay, so let's see. Yeah, always find her.
No, we go back to Kristen going back to the house looking for that tea set.
That's right. So yeah, we go back to the house, and she does. I think she tries to throw it away. Even she like puts it in the garbage. See, we get the X's again, which I know they're just for to hold the plates, but I don't know. We see a lot of X's on things lately. That one was a little much, I know. Looking at the X's too much. But yeah, she throws it in the garbage and takes the garbage out even. It's like just trying to get rid of it. And then the girls, I believe the girls come home. Yeah, the daughter, Lexi, comes home for sure.
Yeah, the daughters come home and they're like, "What are you doing, Mom?" She's like, "Cleaning." They're like, "What? Why?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm taking out the trash." And even little girls are like, "But that doesn't come till Thursday." And she's like, "I'm just getting a head start." Like, stop asking me questions.
Yeah, and then the girl, I think the oldest thinks that she's being weird.
You know, 4 little girls are just going to be filled with questions.
You know what? The oldest feels
Yes.
like it's because
She does.
the dad is gone and mom is missing the dad. And so they make a point to call him. And then when they arrive back to the home of Matilda, David asks if Matilda told them about the monster that she sees. And when they say yes, Ben asks if that is why they called the church. And they say it is not the only reason. So they retrieve a nanny cam that they installed in Matilda's room after the fire begins. And they show them the video. And they said they removed anything from the house that could be used as like fire starter. Of anything she could use to start the fire. When they saw this on the video, they immediately called the church thinking like, how did this fire start in this? It was like a closet or something. It was in her room. I think it was in the closet. Again, that closet that she says the man, I believe, was in. And she's almost arguing with him, I believe. And he starts the fire in there. So they're like trying to figure out how is she able to start this fire. And she's arguing with someone in the closet. And at first glance, they don't see anything, but then a slight shadow is moving. And yeah, Matilda's very much so like freaking out. Like, I don't even know, even if she could start the fire, it's very weird. She would have to be super chemist to start a fire in there and still be able to not have it show up on the nanny cam. Like, how in the heck?
Yeah, it does allude to this fire just starting out of nowhere. Like, she's in bed. How would she? And she never moves from her bed to like go into the closet to mix chemicals per se. So it's very weird. I wasn't able to get a good screenshot of the shadow moving around, but if you rewatch this part, when they first show the closet, you see a slight shadow kind of moving in the closet. I just couldn't get a clear enough screenshot of it because it was so quick that even when like I paused it to try to get the screenshot, you couldn't tell, but if you watch it, you can see it.
And that's why they decided they needed help from just more than a therapist. And later when Ben gets home, he is researching something when his sister visits him. And he is researching the jinns, I believe. And he asks her about the story that their mother used to tell them about a figure with its head on fire. And, because I believe the girl described it as having fire on its head and having no eyes. And her sister,
but he doesn't know. He doesn't remember it. He doesn't remember it off the top of his head. Like, he's trying to like remember it, and that's when he asks his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the little girl obviously triggered a memory of the stories his mum used to say, but he couldn't remember them clearly enough.
Right. And that's when his sister asks if the child is Muslim, which she tells her no, but her adoptive mother is. Okay. Yeah, so she was not inherently Muslim, but the adoptive mother is. But yet she had it before the adopted mother. So I think she had the jinn with her prior to that. And his sister quickly sits down and helps telling him that what he's looking for is called an Ifrit or a jinn. I don't know if I said it, Ifrit. Or as we know them as a jinn
Yeah, I
or
think
a
she
genie.
says it as Ifrit.
Ifrit. And so they reminisce about how their mom used to scare them with the stories of the jinn so they would behave. And after researching it, they talk about how it's most powerful of the jinn and to never play with one because they were weapons that basically they could only their god Allah could defeat it. And as you research into jinns, and I have some of that in the Discord, there's essentially two types of jinns. One is a good jinn. It is one of basically Islamic faith. It is not turned away from Allah. The more evil or malevolent jinn is the one that has turned away from Allah and away from the teachings of Islam. So they are not considered demons as you would consider in Catholicism, because they are both good and evil, or they can be either. It is based upon their decisions, and I believe they can and I believe even one that is bad technically can come back and be redeemed, so to speak, if it sort of, I guess, like repents sort of and goes back to the teachings. But yeah, so they are looking at the jinn, and it has the fire, and I believe there's different even forms of them, and I think the fiery one is a particular kind of jinn. But there's a lot of different lore that, depending on when in the lore and when in the history you look at the jinn. So yeah, they are reminiscent all about it. And so eventually, the next day, I believe, they are back at home of Matilda. As they're searching around her room, Bennett's I think he finds this is when explains to Kristen and David about a jinn and that they can both be good or evil, and that they can be something different to each person. As they continue to debate the jinn and demons, and that is between David and Ben. They are basically debating their both faiths as later the two exorcism priests or of each faith will sort of debate each other on the faith as well. So they're searching around her room, and after that, let's see, Ben discovers a science kit underneath Matilda's bed. And he says that she has certain chemicals that could explain how she started the fire. Okay, yes. She may have these under her bed, but man, she would have to be a hell of a chemist to be able to set it up in a way that it would be a delayed reaction, and so much so that the nanny cam didn't pick her up playing around with it in the closet. I mean, what do you think, Ice Queen Dana?
Yeah, I think that's too much of an excuse there. She may be into chemistry, she may understand how it works principally, but she's 9 years old. She's not going to be able to know exactly when to start talking, when the fire will start, or anything like that. So to try and suggest that this 9-year-old set this chemistry thing up, no, I'm afraid I can't believe that.
Yeah, I didn't quite believe it either. And later we'll see that she's able to do it without the chemistry set.
Yeah, I thought it was very convenient for these things to just like be found, and it was like chlorine tablets and like something else that I was just like, how would this kid even get their hands on it? Like it was very convenient. And she says, she's like, it wasn't me, that's the monster stuff. Yeah, it's something odd, like how would did she walk into like the auto body shop and like buy a pint of like brake fluid? Like, where would she even possibly get that from? And her stepdad doesn't seem to be like a mechanic. Like, it's not lying around the house in his garage, so to speak.
I assume
So
she got
it was
it from
very
the garage
weird. But this
because I mean the chlorine tablets and all that kind of stuff, I would assume she found that in their garage. Because I mean the oil and stuff, we have oil that we keep. I don't remember if they do or not, but they could be used for other things. If they have any kind of water feature, they might use chlorine tablets. Otherwise, I don't know where else she got it from. I'm assuming it came out the garage or the shed somewhere. I don't know. My daddy's shed's got all kinds of crap in there. We could probably survive the apocalypse.
But mine too. But did Mr. Strand look like the dude who was going to be, working on his car over the weekend? Like, he just doesn't seem like that would be something in his garage.
It's definitely
he didn't scream
where she got, these materials from. And then like that, I would even be like, "Where'd you get that crap from?" They're all worried about how she started fire. Where the hell, did you get this stuff from? Did you steal this? But yeah, she totally denies the chemicals are hers and tries to explain that the monster did it. Yeah, and that she blames it on the monster. And they're assuming that she's blaming the monster as though a kid would an imaginary friend. And then she begins to speaking to her as though in Arabic, and says to Kristen, "A fire will burn whoever is close and jump to one of you." That was creepy. Sorry, Dana, go ahead. I didn't know if you were trying to say something.
And it freaks Kristen out. Like, she's a little freaked out by it.
Oh, yes, because I believe it will be jumping to Kristen. Because later that night, as Kristen is driving home, she sees the Jinn for herself for the first time standing behind a group of elderly women.
This is where it gets interesting.
Mm-hmm. Seeming to interact with them, even though they do not see it blowing fire.
The street?
What
does she see?
Go ahead. So yes, she sees the Jinn, and it basically blows fire at these elderly women. And the elderly women they don't quite see it. They don't quite know it. They just think it's wind basically blowing on them. But Kristen basically freaks out because now she's hallucinating again. First it was George hallucinating, and she's dealing with those things with the night terrors, and now she's dealing with this Jinn. And as Kristen tries to sleep, she is awoken from she's having erotic dreams. Because, let's see, yeah, so she's having the erotic dreams, and let's see, I lost my spot. Oh, yeah, so causing her to become uneasy, and as her eldest daughter, Lynn, I think I missed something. Her daughter doesn't come in her dreams. What did I mess up?
No, she
wakes her up.
I guess in the bathroom, and she sees her mom, and she's just kind of generally worried about her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And this is where we get to see a new side of Kristen.
Oh, yeah. This is her first trying. She's basically good again. She gets dressed up to go out for the evening to a bar.
Yes, we meet slutty Kristen. We meet slutty Kristen.
Yes. And this is basically because the way they talk about it in the inside look of the episode, this behavior from her, although it is a passion or something that is sort of inside of her to want to be, I would say, sexy and sexual and have fun like that, this is the her doing it as far as adultery and breaking her marriage with Andy, which she doesn't do just yet. But to me, this is still cheating. So yeah, this is basically the Jin's influence, sort of pushing her desires or passions into a sinful manner. Oh yeah, she is looking. I guess that's where she looks up about the Jinn. She's looking at it again, and a gentleman comes up, and they exchange a little flirty conversation, to say the least. He recognizes her wedding ring, and she's like, "Yep." Does that bother you? And he is not bothered at all. Well, maybe a
Oh
little.
yeah, she's excited right now. She's flirting her little butt off. Look at her. She is all types of enjoying this.
Oh yes, she is. Very much so. I don't think she follows through with it, but she definitely gets him to want to leave with her. Where she gets in her car, and I think she leaves. That's where she sees the Jinn again, like her rear view mirror. Which
Yeah, I
again,
think the
just
Jinn says next time you can stay or follow through with it. She's obviously battling with herself, I think, when she's looking at the exit sign and must leave.
Yeah, she's definitely on a high too when she's in the car, I think. But then she feels the heat, the burning from the Jinn, sort of. And there he is in her rear view mirror. So he is 100% attached to her at this point. He is the fire, sort of driving that sinful passion. And the next day, she goes to Kurt and explains to him about it. And she's basically freaking out because she's seeing all these different things. And he's trying to explain to her, telling her this is all from the trauma she's going through. And that he wants to start seeing her twice a week and gives her a different medication. So she's been on several different medications. And then, so Kirk's been trying, because he's doing this medically, thinking that these are hallucinations. But really, I think these are actual demons that she's seeing. So medication may not actually work for these as well as she would like. Yeah, no, it's not a good look for Kristen to cheat on her husband. But the way
Not
I
at all.
think they wanted it to
Because
be played out.
he's trying to fix her.
Go ahead. Sorry, Dana, did you want to say something?
No, like he's trying to fix something. Yeah, he's trying to fix her medically. And like in turn, I think the pills are actually making it worse. I don't think the medication is helping her at all.
Yeah, she definitely thinks that later, that not only is it not working, but she gets super paranoid because I don't think she needs the medication. So to be on, psychotic drugs that you don't need, yeah, they're going to make you more paranoid. They're going to make you, probably the side effects are not going to be as pleasant. And then let's see. So I believe they go back to Matilda's home to perform the exorcism. They find that Jan has called in I know I'm not going to say
and this is where we meet the Sheik.
This Sheik, yes, the Sheik, as well, to perform a Muslim exorcism. And since the Jinn is Islamic, only he can do this. And he's going to tell him that Catholicism, or the Catholics, have no business here. This is a Jinn. This is of Islamic origin, so he has to be the one to find out if it is good or evil Jinn, and then he must negotiate with it to see if he can get it, to basically leave her. And then soon, Father Michael and I believe the Sheikah is called Majid. I know I did not say his name right. But they begin to argue about how to proceed, and David is able to get them to work together, come, to kind of put aside their differences, and, two faiths are better than one. And during the exorcism, Matilda begins to hiss and literally just like thrash about. It is the most insane looking thing ever. And I believe the Kings actually kept her, and she was also, this character was also in season 1, the Halloween October 31st episode, as the girl behind the mask, the fake Deborah. She is not the same character, but the same actress, because they liked her so much in how she portrayed, and how she just, in her acting abilities. And she did a really good job during
She
her
was really
exorcism.
awesome. She did a really good job at that possession and the exorcism. I thought she was fantastic.
And then she turns to Kristen, telling her that it is coming for her, which we already know that because she's already seen it. And she stares back fearfully of what it means
Yes.
even after the exorcism is complete. Yes, so yes, she doesn't really understand what it means, I think, but Kristen knows that the djinn is attached to her. Sorry, go ahead, Dana. Alrighty, so let's see. And then, so they go through the exorcism. I'm so sorry, I lost my place.
Oh, that's
So
funny. Jen. Evil Jen or Jin?
That is funny.
Evil Jen or Jin? Sorry, that made me chuckle.
It's pretty good. It's pretty funny. So let's see. After that, so I believe they assume that she has been exorcised of her
And then after the
djinn.
exorcism is complete, Kristen.
Yeah, when Kristen arrives
Well, that's
home,
what they think.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think they believe that she's been exorcised at this point.
Mm-hmm. And then I think Kristen arrives home, where she goes to check on her daughters, and Lynn wakes up hearing her telling her that it is okay if she wants to go out again. Oh, yeah, so Lynn is telling her if Kristen wants to go out again, it's fine, that she's old enough to watch her sisters, and that, she can watch them, it's fine. And then Kristen just kind of like leaves the room, and basically, I think she ends up doing that. Oh, no, she noticed the tea set is back in the room, being taken out of the garbage. I don't know who brought the tea set back in. Was it? I don't think it was Cheryl. So I don't know where that came. I don't know if the girls found it. That was very creepy. And then Kristen, basically, she's going to the bar, basically out again. So we're on take 2 of the bar. And then she sees something, some kind of light. Oh, she takes her medications and stuff.
Slutty Kristen's coming out again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there she is. And she is just getting all ready for the night. And then she sees something, I think, outside, like a light.
And has some condoms.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, she loads all this stuff into her purse. And getting ready to go out. So then she looks to see this light coming in the backyard, and when she looks out the window, she sees the djinn standing there just staring at her. It's causing Kristen to become overwhelmed with fear, and she rushes to take the pills Kurt gave her. As she starts to think about what is happening, as she cries in the bed, not understanding like what is happening, because she's going between being taken over by what the jinn is doing to her, and then understanding that she knows it's sinful. She knows she shouldn't be doing this. But why am I feeling these emotions of wanting to go this far? And the story closes out with Matilda sitting on her front lawn during the night, staring at the garbage can in front of her house, where it burst into flames as she I can't even say the word, ominously stares at the fire. So yeah, was the jinn gone? Did it truly just go to Kristen? Was fire part of her abilities without the jinn? Who knows? I do not
Honestly.
know.
I do not know. I like your theory, though, that she's got two things going on. Her abilities that she got from the fertility clinic. And I think that was a big part of it.
I
And
do
then
too.
perhaps the jinn attached itself to her because of her ability.
Yep. So yeah, that was definitely interesting.
Crypto Color Light says they're showing us how demons can convince you to do bad things to the people you love. That is true.
Absolutely. And then we get into the final part of this episode of the night. And I know it is getting late. We are almost done. And thank you all for hanging in there with us tonight.
Yeah. We've had a great crowd in tonight, haven't we?
Yes, you guys have been amazing. Get to the third and final story of this episode. And I think this is where we get back into Ben.
Yes,
and
it's not
his
very many
night terror-
screenshots.
And his night terror demon, Abby.
Yeah, it's a short
Yes,
story.
we can see more of her, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is where we see what her rip the retainer out of her mouth. Possibly.
Yes, it is.
I'm not quite sure what she's doing without the retainer in her mouth, but it looks painful.
Yes, it is.
It was quite disgusting.
Yeah, and like as she's like taking it out of her mouth, the slobber, it's just like you hear like the slushing noise as she like pulls it out of her mouth. It's fucking gross.
We pull those up.
I'm pulling them. Yeah.
But yeah, guys, what do you think so far about this episode?
Sorry, my computer.
Do you need me to pull them up real quick, Dana?
Yeah, it's giving me problems. If you can pull up just Ben's.
All right. All right, give me just a second.
Buddha Cafe
Let's
says,
look.
I say this episode is evil spiritual for the sole fact that the writers are too scared to disrespect Muslims as opposed to Christians. I think it might just be looking at two different faiths as opposed to being too scared to disrespect them. I think perhaps it is just giving us as an insight into different faiths, different religions, and you know, because the jinn is part of that religion as opposed to a demon.
Yeah, because the jinns are not considered, from what I read, to be the same as like where Catholicism has angels and demons. They are, I think, on the same level or just above humans, sort of, in the sense that they can repent. They can be both good or evil, and I believe they could repent, but you can also have a jinn sent on you by, say, like a witch in order for it to trick you.
Yes.
So there's some interesting lore out there about the jinns.
Yeah.
But it was also interesting how the sheik made the comment of it's not so much exorcising the jinn. He wanted to negotiate with the jinn because that was the only way to truly get him to leave. It wasn't like the Catholic exorcism where you're forcing the demon out per se. With the jinn, he was like, we have to negotiate it with it in order for it to leave. So it wasn't trying to push out the demon as much as trying to see how to get it to leave.
Yes.
So it was very different
Yeah.
from the Catholic sense of an exorcism.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was interesting. I liked that we saw a different side to the religious aspect, and it wasn't just from a Catholic point of view this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they definitely wanted to show that kind of contrast in faith. Or in the faiths.
I do like this episode because I like the gin, but I also agree with Kiwi Skirt. I don't really like seeing the slutty side of
Of Kristen.
Kristen.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people
I
complain about
really
that.
don't like adultery, so
Mhm.
cheating on somebody is
I don't
not
either.
something-
You
that
know
really
me,
does
I am
not sit
definitely
well with me.
not with it.
Mhm. So yeah, I know a lot of people
No.
I
give
100%
Kristen a
agree.
lot of grief this season. But from my understanding, the show writers wanted to make it more about the demons and the jinns attached to her, causing her sort of to give in to temptation, similar to how what they're trying to do to David and his, well, as we'll see with him seeing, you know, the Kristen, just sort of tempt him into doing things that he shouldn't do as a priest. And yeah, Kristen definitely gives in. David gives in, I believe, too, but in a different manner. But yes, she definitely gives in at some point. But finish out this episode is where we get.
Devil's work, tempting others.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's all about that temptation and whether they succumb to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here's Abby, and
Sorry, I'll let you get on.
No, you're fine. I was just going to finish up this last little bit, and then we can discuss the episode a little bit more. That way we can kind of... I know everybody has been bearing with us, and I know it's getting late, so we're going to try to finish this out. But this is Abby, our little nightmare demon of Ben, the little succubus. Again, he's paralyzed, and she is just having her way with him. Very gross way with him.
It sure is. It really is.
And he has also been trying to do the lucid dreaming. I mean, he's trying to do it with an the alarm, but his alarm, I believe, is not set on vibrate. It's just set on sound. So
I think he's trying to record. I think he's trying to record to see if he can hear if he can record the conversation.
That's right. Yes. So he can find out if it's real, because Ben is always ever trying to disprove the supernatural. And there it is. The most disgusting part. She puts it right out there by the phone.
Oh, I hear the sound. It was like slurping as she like took it out of her mouth. It was so gross. And Ben is just like, why do you have a retainer? He's like so baffled by it. He's like, what the hell?
Oh god, yeah. So she basically proceeds to make out with him, essentially, or no, do other things with him, possibly below the belt.
Yeah, she attempts to give him a little bit of a happy ending.
And he wakes up to check his phone to see if there is a recording or not. And he sees nothing, I believe. There was no recording, and then he is basically trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I believe the time he was asleep for a few hours, but the phone only recorded like 46 seconds. That's all it recorded, but he was asleep for a few hours.
So again, tech stuff giving him problems. Yes, Kiwi. I believe she attempts to, possibly does.
Oh yeah, she tries. And I believe he wakes up to when she tries to chomp down.
Pretty much. That's when he woke up. Got a little too real.
It sure did.
He woke up
His
screaming.
manhood. I'm sorry, guys, in the chat, but yeah, she attempted to give him a happy ending and removing his happy ending. Sorry for all you men in the chat. I know that must be painful to hear.
Yeah.
But what else do you expect from a succubus demon?
Yes. She is definitely.
Pleasure and
BK
pain.
tops him off.
Yeah.
She sure does. Oh, Kiwi got right to the point. Yep, she kind of, gives him head pretty much.
hmm So I think, is this where he's setting up cameras too to with it try to watch himself as he sleeps?
Yes, the next step was trying to record it, but we don't see that until the next episode. It kind of just ends with him putting up the camera and
hmm
screen goes to black.
Alrighty, guys, and there you have it. That is episode 3. F is for fire. Awesome. So there's a lot of little side stories now as we get through season 2 and season 3. It's a little bit more in depth with each character and sort of the Cheryl Leland stuff, and then we're gonna have Kristen and her family, and now we got, you got Ben with his succubus and sort of his sister and his girlfriend storyline, and then we have David and his priest storyline, and they're all sort of forming their own path, but they all intertwine within each other. But what do you guys think overall? These 3 episodes for the start of a season. I think it was a pretty good start to the season. Like we said early on, the intros and the outros that they played for these with George speaking were the best, with the pop-up books and him just telling you what, previously on and what's to come. Some of my favorite parts of the episodes.
Yes, I like that. And
Yeah.
I still, out of all 3, I still love the interaction with the angel. I still think that is by far my favorite out of the 3 episodes, and how like we're starting to see a bigger picture of what is kind of like going on, that we're not just talking about something small. Like I think the end goal of Leland is basically to destroy the world or take over the world in some way, shape, or form.
Yes. Yeah, and yes, Betray King, episode 4 we will cover next week is a very good episode. E is for elevator, and yes, Ben has he's quite an ordeal he goes through, and we learn all about the Tiki Tiki girl. So that is a good episode to look forward to next week, definitely.
Definitely.
So you guys in the chat, what did you think? Y'all excited to see what's to come for these fine individuals and their sinister ways, and Leland up to no good as always? Hey, Leland is the nice guy, right? Yeah, he is an absolute charmer.
So nice. He is so nice. He is just, he's a good, like a good guy. He tries to help other people. He's a romantic. He loves it all.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the way he showed up to Cheryl's with a nice bottle of whiskey, all turned on by the "die you pig fuck" on his wall. He's a romantic. They had that fire, that passion when they, first played sheet Jenga. The fires of hell were burning. Sorry. I'm super stoned at this point, so just don't mind me. Just ignore me.
Yes, it is getting to the witching hour. We were
just ignore me.
Deep into the medical or the
lights are flickering on and off. We got people in the chat talking about shadow figures and pictures. Yeah, it's just one of those nights.
Oh, well, thank you, Crypto. Yes, well, I know I enjoy the show. I'm glad you do too, and thank you for your support.
Thank you, Crypto.
Yeah,
and good luck with your
putting a lot of input in.
Yeah,
just
good luck with that, man. You're
Yeah,
like,
I don't think I want to mention it anymore because I don't want my lights to flicker on and off.
It's gonna kick
Well,
us
my
all off
sun
the
is coming
stream.
up now.
Oh, so it is the morning for you. So you have made
the
it
break
through.
of day.
Yes, you've made it through the night.
I have
so
made
there's
it through the night.
No worries, hopefully, of nightmare demons, maybe. No, George.
No. I did actually. I went to sleep before coming on the show, and I did actually wake up. I don't know whether it's because I'd been watching the evil show during the day, but I actually woke up not being able to breathe. I woke up with a panic attack about an hour after falling asleep.
That's not good. That's
Yeah,
not
that
good
was-
at all.
That
My
was, that was
goodness.
not good. I have no idea what. I just sort of woke up not being able to breathe. But funny, I was remembering the episode with the metronome, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to try that and try and calm myself down with it.
Mm-hmm.
It actually works a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah,
But then I changed
definitely
it
with a
to
panic
flip-flop.
attack to calm your heart rate and your breathing. It definitely helps.
Okay, are you guys ready
Might
to
be a
get freaked?
retainer.
Are you guys ready to freak out right now? Are you guys ready to freak out before we fucking stream?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah,
Okay.
so you got one good freak out.
Do you
We're
not
ready.
see in the chat? It says next to my name, the super dog.
What are you talking about?
In the YouTube chat right now, if you find my name next to my name, it says the super dog.
I don't see what you're talking about other than
Do you not see it? It's in my chat. I did not write that.
You did not write the super dog?
No, I did not.
Data's messing with us, guys.
No, I'm not. I kid you fucking not right now. I am not touching anything. I don't even know where my phone is right now. I did not type anything into the YouTube chat. I don't know where that came from. Freak out. I am about to freak out.
Data, you've been hacked by Leland Towson.
I did not write that.
You heard it, guys. Careful. You need to put your
That's it. I'm
sage.
done. I'm done. That's it.
We're gonna close it. And on that note, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. Had a great stream. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining us.
I swear to all of you, I did not write that in any way, shape, or form. What does that even fucking mean, the super dog? Okay, that's it. I'm done.
I don't know.
Good luck, Dana. Grab a knife. I don't know. She needs to grab the sage.
This is
crucifix. I don't know what other. Some lavender.
Dana, I'll ponder on it for 5 minutes and I'll come up with a logical explanation.
Get a VPN.
You get a VPN.
I need to do something.
Dana has been hacked. Yes, I did.
That's it.
Yep, somebody has hacked Dana.
I'm freaking out right now, guys. I am a little creeped out right now. Somebody just make sure I'm alive in the morning. That's all I ask. If nobody hears from me within 24 hours.
Someone have access to your account, Dana. Who would have access?
I have.
I wonder. Think of one. I'll talk to you about it after the stream.
It
was Leland.
I'm scared, guys. I'm scared.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna shut it down so Dana we can work out the tech problems and get all the demons and ghosts out of the chat. But thank you guys. Honestly, I know, Dana. You want to keep going and see what else it writes, or would you like to end?
I know. I'm just so scared.
You say you want to end, but I think you want to keep going.
Because now I'm scared.
I will be in the back room with you. I will not leave you.
Yes. You're going to be up with me for a little while tonight. Discord, guys. We'll be in the Discord.
Yes. I'm sure it is just some weird technological glitch, and we will figure it out after we leave. But again, guys, thank you all for joining us tonight. And thank you, Dana and Ice Queen, for joining me to talk all things evil. And although Dana is scared half to death, we do appreciate you all for hanging in there with us tonight. But yes, thank you all.
It's been a pleasure being here with you, Scarlett and Dana.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks for
us.
joining the Angel
Thank you,
family.
and thank you to the chat for being so supportive of us.
Yes, you guys are awesome.
And whoever is messing with Dana, thank you for the entertainment value, but that was really mean.
Yes. Thank you. We will make sure we get all the demons and ghosts and creeps out of the chat that have tried to take over Dana. Hopefully it is not a Jinn. Dana, we're going to talk about that later.
Yes.
But again,
Good night, everybody.
Have a great night.
Good night.
We will see you next time.
Take care,
Bye.
all. Bye.